All right. Welcome back to Obinna Show Live. Welcome back to Obinna TV Extra. Let me just check who is tuned in. We have 1.2 thousand people already in. Wacha tufike watu kama 3,000 alafu tuanze. Wacha tufike watu kama 3,000 and then we begin. Naona sasa haki hizi comments zenyu surely. Nimechoka kungoja. I'm here guys, I'm here. Patience is a virtue. Okay, I'm here. All right, I can see. Finally, Masi Cardinali, asante sana. Joyce Jalagat, thank you very much. Hope MK, Danny Mnao, Walter Nzuza. I'm here, guys. Breathe. I told you, and I always deliver like I told you. We are here. To occupy Obinna for not keeping time. I would love for you guys to occupy the comment section and also like the live. Okay. Oh, mnataka kuja kuiwatch live? Yeah, we had Samaki. We had Samaki on Othaya Road in Kileleshwa. Ask him. Yeah. All these questions I see you running, we're going to ask the CS all of these questions. Keep them coming. But it will get the right time when I'll tell you to run the questions. We'll do site na mark to register kwanza. Tuone tuko ngapi ya 1.5k people live. Yeah, let's get to 3,000 people. Then, of course, we begin because this one is going to be one for the books. This one is a hot one. Obinna, we reject you. Do not host the CS. I'm like, I'm a media house. It's what I do for a living. So, leteni maswali. All right? John Tugu, keeping time is a problem here. Your time or my time? You know, okay, let's get something. Okay, just messing with you. Come on, guys. Musikue hivyo. Mambo ni mengi. Hata mimi nimekuwa hapa kutoka saa 4 asubuhi. Siwezi kunywa kopo la kahawa. Mundaka niongee tu. Aya, we are at 1.9. Yep. Just we are shy 1,100 people so that we can officially begin. Okay, we can begin. Kama unajua barabara ya kwenye hajatengenezwa, ka standby. Tutafika huko. Nimeona watu wa miwani na chemelili washaanza kuongea hapa. Yeah, we're going to handle that as well. Kunani, thank you very much. Lois Njoki, asante sana. Unasema anguka nayo. Unasema tuanguke na CS. Okay. Ernest Madi, asante sana. Gloria Official, of course. I'm just mentioning a couple of names randomly. We are 2.1 thousand people tuned in live. Sonny Willie, Francis Murioki. We have Poet Lee Michael, asante sana. Josfat, also Mohamed Abdallah. Omena. Yes, we're coming live from Omena. Yeah, we have Sam Lucas, Kasper, Kevin 2 is in the building. Governor 035. Paul Maura is in the building. Catherine Kialo, Jennifer. Milka Maina, Philemon Cheriot. Na leo wakale ni wengi kwa hii live. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Umeinvitiwa na zile plant moles. Si tunachukua tu maswali kutoka kwa Wakamba na Wakisi. Yeah. We are 2.7. Yeah, let's get to 3,000 so we can officially begin. All right, Philemon Chelang. Ay, wakale ni wengi. Hey, okay. Archibella, thank you very much. Fairyland. We have Oscar Sudi. Oscar Sudi TV. Oh, wow. Welcome, Mheshimiwa. Yeah, tufanye mchango kidogo. Fanya namna hii. Okay, Cynthia Ongaro, thank you very much. Michael Otieno, Anthony Maingi, we are 2.9 thousand. Amos Muli Foundation, Abdifata Abdi is in the building. Santeni Sana, Shadrach, Kevin Nyaga is in the building. Eric Mboy is in the building. Prince Kiminiski is back. Oh, Prince Kiminiski, asante, thank you for coming back. Detective Ray, Murunga Sichangi, Anthony Maingi is also back. Asante Sana. Oburu Oyaro Mambo, Lucy Ngasake, welcome back. Lady Boss Diana, asante sana. Dan Kim 254, asante sana. Yeah, we are 3.1 thousand people watching the live. So let us begin. Thank you very much for creating time. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for subscribing to Obinna TV Extra. And thank you so much for choosing Obinna Show Live. We've been here nearly the whole day today. If you haven't watched the other interviews, you better do so. We are hosting Makore, and his story is quite something. If you had no idea, the gentleman has tried to commit suicide a couple of times. He's still suicidal, and he doesn't know why he does it, but he just feels like his life does not have a meaning of sorts. And he was abused as a child, sexually abused that is, And now that he's this superstar and he's celebrated, and people, we see him up there, and we saw him rejecting the finance bill. He's actually nearly the face of the rejecting the finance bill movement. And he was also abducted in the movement, but somehow he's still going strong. But what you don't know is battling a lot of things from within, and you should watch that interview, all right? We also had Rosie, the lady who was working in Lebanon as a house manager. I'm a millimeter house commander. Yeah, and when she was coming back home, the children were crying. Awataki atoke awawache the children for her boss, and it really trended. We had her over here. She's back in the country because also now her children were now also crying. Now she can't go back. It's complicated. People are saying she's pregnant. Do what? We had Rosie as well. You should watch that one. And then also we had a Kuku Danger. Yes, he's a sickle cell anemia warrior, and he's a fire comedian. I've laughed. Now, if you want to laugh, go to that episode and laugh. And we said all the jokes we made there are not about sickle cell anemia warriors. It's for Kuku Danger, okay? Because it's a good sport. That one was one for the books. So go and watch that one for Kuku Danger as well, and you will enjoy it. And if you haven't subscribed, kindly do so. Okay, we are 3.9 thousand people watching this live. Asanteni sana. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. And also, my new jam, Welo Welo, is just about to hit 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you very much. I'm forever, ever grateful for everybody who's been part of it. Asanteni sana. So, as promised, for this particular episode, because we know Obinna Show Live brings you inspirational conversations, motivational conversations, and sometimes intriguing conversations, like the one we're about to have. This one is an intriguing conversation and a little bit of inspiration because the gentleman also has come from far. I'm hosting a CS. This time, sijawaletea kama ule CS wa last time. Now this is Cabinet Secretary for Roads, Transport and Public Works in Kenya, Mheshimiwa Murkomen. Kipchumba Murkomen.
Yes.
I got it right.
Yes.
Karibu.
Asante sana,
welcome.
Obinna. Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for creating time.
Thank you.
And showing up. Yes, nimekutafuta sana. I really wanted to sit down with a few people in the government. Tuambiane ukweli. Okay? We hold you accountable.
That's true.
After the title for this show is Nothing But the Truth. Accountability.
It's important.
I've seen you been on the media space. I'm here to see positive vibes coming your way. Naonanga tu Murkomen. Kidogo. So nikasema nikutafute tukae chini tuongee. Thank you for coming.
Sana. Thank you.
Thank you for coming through. Rube. Where's Rube? The microphone for the CS ako kawaya kamepita hapo, si uisort alafu ndio tu nini. Bucheki kama iko sawa, wacha Rubea asort vizuri. Alafu ndio aifiche hapo ndani vizuri, alafu ndio tuanze. Of course, we are coming live to you guys from Samaki on Othaya Road. This is the best joint you can come and sample seafood. Okay. All right. If you want to try seafood, you want to try lobster, calamari, crabs, come through with your person. If you've never been here, let me show you a glimpse of this video so you can get the idea of how this place looks classic. All right, the ones you've seen right in front of you are students from Gold Child Media Institute. It's an institution that teaches people what to do in the media space. You want to do videography, you want to do photography, you want to do anything on this space. Simusimame ni kama mwatu wa nini sasa. Hapa si HR bwana. Hii ni media, inataka watu creative ni nini. Umeshika kamera, kani kama umeshikilia kamera ni nini. So, what are you doing? Videography, and photography. Or finally to change tune and photography. Videography and photography. Apple. Oh, okay. All right. They're all studying the same thing. So if you want to join, you should consider coming through to Gold Child Media Institute. They're in town. And on this show, Obinna Show Live, we always have, once in a while, we invite some students from the school to come through and get a glimpse of what goes on. You can see the lights. If you pan like this, you can see we have the lights this side. I wish we could pan around so you could see more of the things that are happening behind the scenes. So you need to study all of these things that are happening over here. It's not as easy, and also it's not as hard. Okay, it takes a little bit of discipline, a little bit of lessons here and there, the technical know-how. So consider joining Gold Child Media Institute. Ukuje ujoin hawa. Mujifundishe, si kujifundisha ku-DJ tu peke yake. Welcome to Gold Child Media. All right, there you have it. So you've seen a couple of things. Where we are, Samaki, you've seen the one for Gold Child Media Institute. You should join them if you want to learn anything to do with videography and photography, anything media course related. And finally, Mr. Frames Kenya. Stop having boring walls. You want some pictures and posters to put on your wall. Very nice designs. Frames, talk to Mr. Frames Kenya. Now, we are hosting CS Murkomen tonight. And kwenye comment section, where? Okay, so just before we begin, wacha kwanza to catch up. Umeona venye tumechemusha ground?
I can see.
Tumewapeleka?
I can see. No, it's important.
Hey.
I used to do that.
I
used to do that. So when I see young people at my age doing exactly some of the things we used to do,
yeah,
I am gratified that people are very much conscious about their country and they are anxious to make a contribution. So remember, I'm one of the youngest CSs.
Okay.
So ordinarily, I should be closer in terms of age and interaction with the younger population at the moment. Okay. Although, of course, now my son is in that generation. My two sons are in that generation. But it is exciting. I mean, I used to agitate for rights when I was in high school for students. I was a student leader at the university. Okay. I taught the university for 5 years before joining politics. During my tenure as an adjunct lecturer at the University of Nairobi, I wrote one of the SONU constitutions that lasted long at the times of Nixon, Korir, Sakaja, Ocean, and so forth. And so in my student leadership also at the University of Nairobi time, I played a very key role in coming up with a new constitution in 2002. So student activism, social justice, campaigning for rights for people is a very, very good, noble thing. And if you see young people, when I see sometimes the posters there and they are campaigning about their country, they're concerned about issues about taxes, others about well-being of the infrastructure and so forth, I stop and say, yes, I mean, with proper mentorship, greater guidance, when these people reach the stage where they take over leadership of the country, definitely when they look back at what they were doing, it will play in their minds as they implement the things they want to implement in their own country. So being pushed to the wall is the only way we can be able to make government officials like myself and others to be more accountable. Because accountability, having been now elected 3 times in Parliament, I know that why every other elections my votes went higher is because there was always a threat of someone wanting to remove me at a certain point in time. So you have to work harder and harder when you have a greater accountability. You have, even when sometimes you look at us and, you know, a minister or a PS or whatever is holding public office or a politician is posturing and saying, no, atutishwi, tuko sawa. But when you go back and retreat to your office, you ask yourself, what is really the point that these people are making? Is there something that we are doing wrong? Is there something, is there a voice, their message they are passing to us? Even when you don't agree with their language or the manner in which they pass to you that message, or sometimes the issues they're raising may not be exactly as you understand where you are. When you sit back and reflect it guides you as a public officer to be able to want to do more, because it is that idea of accountability that makes you to be expecting more. So if you look at my page, for example, and I'm sure even the feedback you get now from your show, some may be saying huyo ni mwizi, huyo ni those kind of things, mwizi.
Just mwizi.
Some will say that guy is incompetent, he has done nothing for us. Another one was saying the other day, is the wrong profession in that docket, and so forth. So when you sit back, there are things you deduce and you say, oh, no, this one are lies. Someone is saying things because they didn't have the information about who you are and what you do. But there are things that tell you, yeah, wait a minute, I should have looked at this project in this manner. So accountability, and I've reached a stage in my life that because the late Kajwang, we served with him in the Senate, there's a phrase he really used to like, that if you don't like the smoke, then don't go to the kitchen. If you do not like to be criticized, if you do not like to be called names, if you want to be in your comfort zone, then don't go to the kitchen. As long as you are inside public service and you are serving people, can you imagine 50-something million people collectively having voted for a government for you to serve like the way I serve? You must be ready you shouldn't be a Mr. Yes praise person. You must be ready to be put to the wire. But at the end of that, you must sober up, reflect on what is your vision, and always understand. There is in my previous life in student leadership, especially Christian student leadership, one of the training that I got it from the Fellowship of Christian Unions, some of the greatest pastors and men who serve in this country, people like Bishop Callisto Odede, Dr. Washira, most of them who serve now in big, Odede, Bishop Odede, among others. One of the things that they used to teach us is that the first thing you need to learn when you get to public office, whether it's public or private or church, the day you enter, you must always keep in mind the day you exit. And you must always know that the day you step in there, your mind, you must be ready. You must always be ready with your things ready there, always knowing that when you exit that door, there must be something you leave behind that can be impactful to people's lives. That is my guiding principle. The day I shook the hand of C.S. Macharia, and I told him all the best in your retirement, I always have in mind the day another person will shake my hand and wish me the very best. And that's important. And that should be important for all of us, regardless of the positions we hold.
Sasa, before tuanze,
yeah,
let's set some ground rules.
Yes.
Number 1.
Don't speak English.
Hapana.
Okay.
Usitu manage. Usitu manage because nimeuliza swali hivi na wewe umeenda hivi.
No, you just asked.
Mimi yangu nimekwambia tuliwapeleka, umetuona venye tumewakisha ground.
Yeah, but I said it's a good thing.
Umeenda mpaka uko kwa CS, uko huku kwa leave the bag next to the door, nini, umeenda UON. Is just umeona, sema tumeona.
Tumeona.
Government inasikiaje?
Inasikia
does the pressure increase or decrease?
I think tuongeze tu kidogo.
Tuongeze pressure kidogo.
Bora tufanye tu kwa amani.
No,
but pressure is our.
Sisi tunafanya kwa amani.
Yeah.
Swali is mbona mnatuua?
No, Obinna, that is
You've
not...
seen the videos.
No, that's not...
When guys are in the street, we don't want the finance bill, then the police are lobbing tear gas unnecessarily. Then now we've lost over 41 people, and the government is not owning up to that. They are managing, you guys are managing us. It's just about 20 people, The president thought the child who was shot about 8 times was still alive. We're just like,
I think as a parent and as a public officer, first, I don't mind the tear gas. I have inhaled tear gas many times. I don't mind the tear gas part. We mind. I'm saying I don't mind the tear gas part if someone was to throw. But where people are losing their lives, it's a painful thing. It's a very, very, very painful thing. I have been in protests as a student leader. I have been lobbied tear gas. In the last elections, prior to the last elections, I have been in police station here trying to get out. Was it Moses Kuria or Ndindi? Then we were hit with tear gas. I think it must have been Moses Kuria. In Nakuru, we went for the London by-elections. It was that one. The one of Nakuru was a bit more painful because the tear gas was hit in a classroom, and we were with a county commission and so forth. I had to jump through a window. It's just the other day, 2 or 3 years. So sometimes that can be manageable, especially if people restrain themselves. But any single person losing their life is extremely painful, regardless of what was the circumstance. And I want to say this. A number of those people, I've seen the names, I've seen the age of the kids. It's extremely regrettable.
Children,
it's extremely regrettable that young people had to lose their life when the intention was to agitate for their rights. And like the president said the other day, some of this, there may be 1 or 2 cases that involved people who are criminals. I do not know. But if you look at the age of most of the people who died, a good number of them, it's extremely regrettable that they had to lose their life in that manner. And I say this from the bottom of my heart. It is my utmost condolence to the families and friends and relatives of the people who lost their lives. I have had occasion to speak to some people who are neighbors to others, some friends on call that kept calling me and say, you know, this should never have happened. And I want to say that I really hope that going forward, we should be able to find a middle ground, yeah, where peace will be maintained, people will be allowed to do their mandamanos, and to provide their grievances to the public under Article 37 of the Constitution without a single person losing their life. What I saw on Sunday for the people that went for commemoration at the Uhuru Park, I think that should be the benchmark of how public expression of their views to those of us who are in position of leadership, it should be the hallmark. It should be the standard. So that in future, because those people came to Uhuru Park, they did what they did, and they went home peacefully. They remembered the persons who lost their lives and went home peacefully. And I think we should be able to allow people to express themselves. Unfortunately, Obinna, is that in this situation, lives were lost. And there is no excuse for a life lost. One life lost is too many.
Okay. So what are you doing about it? Because the police are your foot soldiers. It's an order from above.
I think ordinarily...
We were fighting for the police as well. They're paid badly.
Ordinarily, I played some role in the new constitution. And ordinarily, the dream of the people of Kenya by coming up with the new constitution was to make the police department independent, so that police command, a police officer should be able to say, I can only do the right thing. You know, okay. I can only do the right thing. And I think it is, the police depend on government of the day, support, financial, organization, their wages and so forth. And they are Kenyans like all of us. And I think that progressively we should be able to make sure that, like the president said, a high level of accountability is achieved insofar as these issues are concerned. Obinna, there are cases where, and I saw I've listened, of course, to my colleague and those people who are in the police service, that also the police lives were in danger by virtue of some criminals who, people have come out to protest peacefully. Some criminals infiltrate because they want to do looting or, all that kind of thing, hurt people and so forth. And at some point, also some police officers were harmed. Some of them were beaten, some of them were hurt. And you saw even some policemen also lost their... I saw a policeman lost both hands.
That had nothing to do with the protesters.
It is not nothing to do with the protesters,
which is a police.
Absolutely. But I'm just saying, in the process of also all these things, he also hurt himself. Notwithstanding the circumstances.
That is recklessness of the police officer?
You are speaking of Obinna.
That has nothing to do... Okay, if you have a gun, then you shoot yourself.
Still, if you lose your life, we will be sympathetic to them.
Which I know. We are very sympathetic even to the police officer.
Absolutely, because the police officer is like me and you. he's doing some job.
Which I understand.
Yes.
But the tear gases were unnecessary.
That's
Because
why-
if there was no tear gas, he would still have his hands.
In his training, a tear gas was part of the tools
And
of
if he
trade.
was trained well,
Yeah.
and paid well,
Yeah.
and taken care of,
Yeah.
he would know how to throw the tear gas better.
As we speak from here, Obinna, there are people who, because of their overzealousness, and they are in government, who are saying, oh, you know, protesters should not tell us anything. Those are people who, why did they come to the street? If they didn't come to the street, they would not die. The same way, if you flip your argument and to say if the policeman was not a policeman, if he didn't pick the tear gas, if he knew how to use it properly, every situation, let me complete my statement. Every situation that leads to loss of life or harm for anybody is regrettable. It's regrettable. Irrespective of the fact that the police officer may be following lawful orders, yeah, it's regrettable for both the police and the people who lost their lives. And as I'm saying this, in situations where our policemen were put in awkward position, where inevitably they had to defend themselves or defend a crowd and so forth, it's also regrettable. In the same breath, those who went to Parliament to destroy the infrastructure of Parliament or target armory within Parliament or whatever, and I believe those are not called peaceful protesters, is also regrettable. Because if you destroy your own institution, the same young people, the peaceful ones, are doing what they are doing to us because they believe they are better ideas than those of us who have office, and therefore are being prepared to occupy these offices.
Quick question. Why do you think the protesters wanted to occupy Parliament?
I don't think the peaceful ones wanted to overrun Parliament.
It's not overrun, it was occupy Parliament.
No, I'm just saying occupy, overrun, or trespass, ban, because some corners of the Parliament was banned and so forth. I believe we need to separate.
Why were they doing
We need to separate the ones
Yeah.
that were involved in criminal acts. The ones who wanted to ban, they wanted
You know
to
that
destroy.
there are some hired goons that some politicians paid to come and spoil the peaceful
That's what I'm
protests.
saying. We leave those one aside.
Yes.
The peaceful ones,
Why?
I postulate or I imagine that they wanted to come and provide and present their views about the finance bill. Okay? And those who wanted to come and present their views of the finance bill, I don't think they would have overrun inside Parliament. Because if they are peaceful protesters, of course they understand that there are certain protected areas in the country, you access whatever ways, and these are institutions that we must protect for future. So we need to separate the two. I believe that the peaceful protesters, because there was a protest before, which was peaceful and successful, and even had a bigger crowd. I believe that the ones who infiltrated the protests on 15th of June, that Tuesday, was it Tuesday? Yes, that Tuesday, were actually not the peaceful protesters. The ones who managed to overrun Parliament were people who have been hired.
Yeah. Let me throw a spanner in the works. Were you at the protest?
Not, of course not.
But you're assuming that the people who were occupying Parliament
Yeah.
were just people who had ill intentions. So it's assumption.
It's
You or the
assumption. I
president or
agree.
anybody was not there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were on ground.
Absolutely.
We know this was our intention, and then how the police got violent and everything. However, let's go back to the main reason why we were occupying the streets. We're rejecting finance bill.
Absolutely.
And you as a CS, you are part of the problem. Because in the finance bill, you proposed to increase the fuel levy. So that's you. That's your docket. Why?
I did not propose it in the finance bill because the proposal in the finance bill was just to save. It was in the process of the public participation. I provided information on the intention to increase the finance bill, but at that stage we were amending Section 6 of the Kenya Roads Board Act to safeguard some of the resources from the road maintenance levy, so that they can be used for maintaining what we call orphaned roads, which is about 3,000 kilometers, 2,700 or so kilometers of roads that currently are not being maintained, that are under rural roads. But the real increase of the fuel levy, public participation was today. Okay? The public participation to discuss whether or not we should increase the fuel levy. The fuel levy, for many people who may not understand, was passed in 2007 and in the Kenya Roads Board Act. And the intention was to safeguard resources for maintaining the assets, which is the road. A road, Obinna, when it's a Kenya road, for example, is you spend about 90 million to 100 million to build per kilometer to build a road. And once you build that road, if you want to maintain, because your most important asset, you must have safeguarded resources that annually, as they say in Kiswahili, usipoziba ufa utajenga ukuta. In that 2007 law, it establishes a mechanism for increasing fuel levy. So it started with 7 shillings, then it was reviewed to 9 shillings in 2012, and then in 2016, it was moved to 18 shillings per litre. That money is collected, and of the 18 shillings per litre, 3 shillings were set aside for annuity roads that were funded through annuity program. An annuity program is where somebody who has money comes and constructs the road and then maintains for about 10 years before they can hand over to government. The remaining 15 shillings are the ones that are divided under the law to 3 agencies. 40% of that money go to Kenya National Highway to maintain our highways across the country. That's the roads like Mombasa to Nairobi, Isibania, all the way to Kisumu, all the way to Turkana, and then to our border with South Sudan. Roads like the one from Nairobi here, going to Isiolo up to Moyale, among others, and Namanga, Nairobi, and so forth. Those are called Kenya roads, 40%. 15% of that money goes to maintaining urban roads. So urban roads are like Nairobi, Mombasa, towns across the country. And then you have what's called KERA, Kenya Rural Roads Authority, that maintains 22%, and another 10%, which is 32%, is divided equally to maintain roads in the constituencies. So every constituency at the moment gets about 65 million shillings for maintenance of roads annually. The unfortunate situation that we have at the moment is that from 2016, in 2013, when we came in as Jubilee administration, then we had an ambitious program for Road 10,000, which means increase the roads by 10,000 kilometers. That Road 10,000 program, we completed 6,500 kilometers by the time UDA or Kenya Kwanza administration came to office in 2022. Of those roads, 6,500, none of them has maintenance money. 0. Because of the shared money in the 32%, 40%, and so forth. 32% maintains only rural roads that are maram. The rest of 6,500 tarmac road does not have maintenance. Also, over the same period, we have had many other roads under Kenya that have been developed using development partners have given us money, and we have developed roads like the one for Isibania to Kisii, roads that are like the ones in Mombasa, the roads that we did from Voi to Olili in our border towards Arusha, among others. Those roads were developed, but now they have come of age, they require continuous maintenance. The resources that we have in place, at that point in time, the purchasing power of the shilling in 2016, 1 shilling that time cannot buy what 1 shilling buys today. Yet the fuel levy, which was collecting 18 at that time, at the moment, at that time, the price of petroleum products or petrol was 93. At the moment, it's 170, 180. Yet the purchasing power of that money has gone down. The road network has increased. In fact, the appetite for construction and maintenance of urban roads have gone higher because the population of Kenyans are moving to urban areas. So there is a deficit, a real deficit. This year, because of this increase of the road network that has come for maintenance, a number of the roads under the Kenya National Highway for the first time do not have resources for maintenance. And the same for Kura and the same for Kera. So since there has never been review from 2016 to now, and to bridge the gap, many of the studies show that for us to bridge the gap, you need to increase 10 shillings, 12, or 15. But we think because this is 7 years, 8 years down the line, we thought that we should propose the 7. We bridged the gap by about 30 billion or so. We distributed the roads. In fact, the worst part of the situation we faced is that in the year 2023, towards the end of the year, you remember we had El Nino. It cut many of the roads. Recently, we had massive rains from February to March to April. And we also lost assets of worth 37 billion shillings, which includes bridges, roads that have been destroyed. And since we need to maintain these assets, otherwise we'll throw away the roads, many of which are across the country, developed, constructed, but now full of potholes. We thought that we needed to raise the fuel levy.
Okay.
And we have done public participation. Today, I was in the public participation forum at the ministry there, and many people said that that the only possibility of us increasing any amount to the fuel levy is to wait until the prices of fuel can come down. But to put any other burden to the people of Kenya over and above the taxes that we have in the place is not possible. And that is the reason why you have public participation. We've listened to Kenyans, and we are going to make that decision based on the summary of what I've told you, that don't overburden Kenyans, don't transfer this. People are saying, yes, we want the roads. Because, of course, again, there is no other place for us to raise the resources to do the roads. They're saying we want to maintain the roads, but they're saying wait until it is possible for you to increase the 7 shillings when only the prices of petroleum might have come down.
We? Nauliza swali moja inajibiwa in 1 hour. Nikiuliza swali hata tujaanza hata maswali. Hii show naona tunamaliza asubuhi. Hata sijaanza maswali.
Niko tayari.
Ilikuwa tu nilikuwa nasema tu si utafute, si umesema ulikuwa teacher?
Yeah.
Tafuta bullet points.
No, kidogo because this is a sensitive issue that involves people's roads and also
no, the roads part will come. We've not even spoken about roads.
Okay.
Roads sio hapa naona watu wanaandika mabarabara zao wanasema kuna hii barabara. We'll talk about the roads.
Listen to that.
That's like a different topic because that's your docket.
Absolutely.
For now I just testing the waters, nikuulize hii finance bill hivi na hivi na hivi. You've seen what is happening, so we're just catching up on the recent news.
Okay, we can
and
make
also,
it brief.
Yeah, we also noticed that when we are protesting, we are being killed and then we are being abducted. Why are we being abducted? What's the purpose of that?
I honestly think that I saw the minister, not that I saw, I've just talked to him, the Minister of Interior, and even the President himself promised that if there are people who say being abducted but they were arrested, that's a different issue. But if there is real abduction of people, because I remember somebody called the president the other day when he was engaging Kenyans on X, and he really narrated of how he was held, he was not taken to court, he was taken away from the city and so forth. And the president said he promised that he was going to make sure that there's a comprehensive investigation that will lead to accountability. We don't allow abduction in Kenya. I don't support, and the constitution does not support.
But it's happening, bro.
That's why I'm saying, if that is true, I believe, and I remember the president telling the person, I want your full information, an account of what happened, and he's willing to investigate that issue. You know that we have institutions of accountability in the country, including Kenya National Human Rights Commission.
That are not really efficient because of government anyway.
Yeah.
Let me get back to this. During the protests, why did we have unmarked men with unmarked cars carrying guns, running around, beating people, shooting people, abducting other people? Why? Is the government really in control of its people?
Well,
were those policemen?
I think as the minister professed, he said that there was infiltration of criminals within the protest. And it was his own admission, and said that so many people are going to be taken to court for that. And I think this week, latest next week, we will see how many people have been charged in court who were actually who infiltrated the protest and caused violence and harmed people.
So let me see if I'm getting this clear.
Yeah.
So some strange people saw peaceful protesters and they said, hey, yo, get a gun, get a gun, get a gun. Let's wear these 2 masks, nini nini.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Then let's show up with the double cabin that has no number plate. Then let's shoot a couple of people. But the government does not know who these people are.
No, I think I didn't get your question.
Okay.
Initially, you told me some strange people who have guns.
Yeah,
who
they
came
were strange. They were not
I'm just
uniforms.
Saying, if you mean it's police, and they came to arrest people or they did what they did, you know that the police officers, not all of them were uniform. some operate undercover, especially if they were coming to deal with criminals. Some, as the president promised and the minister promised, if there is anyone who went to the extent of committing and violating the constitution by shooting people or harming people, as they promised also, there's going to be held to account. And I think Professor Kindiki really handled that issue well, and is the person who is competent enough to respond to these questions more than myself, who is in basically the ropes.
Let me ask you one that you can respond to.
Yeah.
So the president has made so many promises that he has not delivered. Why would we believe this promise is making now that the people who are abducting us and killing us are going to be held to book?
Can I ask you one question? Give me 2-3 examples of promises that the president made that he has not delivered.
Nifungue floodgates.
Yeah.
Guys, just 2 or 3 promises that the president made and he has not delivered.
Yeah. And in the process, also add 2 or 3 that he has made and delivered. Because you know, when you say that the president is a liar, he makes promises that he can't deliver, some of the promises we made in our manifesto are going to be delivered by 2027. Yeah? Some of the promises have already been fulfilled now. So when we say that he's lying, you will have to wait for the fullness of time to do overall aggregate of the issues he promised, the ones he achieved and the one he didn't achieve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sawa. Twende kazi. I'm reading the questions here. I just want to pick 3. Promises that the president made and he has not delivered.
And
just 3 of them.
Yeah.
And 3
And
that
3
he
the
has
ones that he has
delivered.
delivered, yes.
Okay.
For a balance.
Okay. Did the president promise to scrap CBC?
Yes, he promised to relook at CBC, and he did it through the task force.
Oh, to relook.
Yes, to review, relook, and make it fit for purpose, and he did so.
Guys, hizi vitu mnaandika hapa ni kumoto.
The manifesto doesn't say to scrap. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so the president's manifesto does not say
to scrap.
He was going to scrap it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. He promised to unravel the mystery behind the SGR contracts.
Yes. And I did.
Oh, you have?
I did. The first assignment I did was to put the SGR agreement in public, which put me in trouble because there was a confidentiality clause on that SGR agreement, but I did it. Once people saw the SGR agreement, they started saying, no, it's not this one, give another one. So I said, if somebody has another copy, a different one, let them share. That was the first promise I made and kept when I entered office.
Okay.
Yeah.
These 2, even these ones I saw, number 1, reduce tax, and then number 2, Mama Mboga would be part of the cabinet.
Yes.
Those were promises the president
The
made.
president promised that Mama Mboga was going to be part of government. Formation of government. Yeah, he didn't say cabinet. That would be the biggest lie.
Okay.
By his critics, because he never said that he was going to have Mama Mboga in cabinet.
I reduce tax.
Reduce taxes, yes, to the extent that the president said that he's going to reduce taxes in the sector that is going to affect a common mwananchi. He did. In fact, this finance bill had many provisions that were going to do away with taxes that were going to affect common mwananchi. For example, taxes that were going to make sure that prices of goods compete with imports from this country were in this finance bill. And we defeated them because it was going to shield Mama Mboga, the person who is doing, who has eggs, the person who is doing local agriculture, local manufacturing, cottage industry, is Juakali sector. Juakali sector is still competing with cheap goods that are going to be imported from outside the country. The president did that for the sake of helping the people at the lower cadre of life to get a shot in terms of progression in their lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember the president talking about gas?
Yes.
Then he flipped it to mtungi gas.
Yes. That gas is going to be cheaper. One of the reasons why the gas becomes more expensive is the mtungi itself.
No, but
so you have to reduce. No, I'm saying that. And by the way, that program is not yet complete.
Okay.
It's not yet complete. It's ongoing. Yeah.
Okay. Giving diapers?
Giving diapers too?
He said he was gonna offer diapers diapers and free sanitary pads?
I know that there is a program that is going on, spearheaded by our women reps, of supplying free sanitary pads to most of our schools. But on the diapers part, I think the only possible something close to coming, making it possible for Kenyans to have diapers at a cheaper price is what we had in a finance bill now that was going to reduce the taxes on diapers locally. But to be free, yes, maybe that has not been achieved yet.
Tutakuwa napiga simu free.
Why don't we see how far we will go with that? Let's see how it go far with that. Yeah. Because, you know, one of the things that we are trying to do is to put digital hotspots across the country.
Yeah, he said
so if we are able to succeed, because again 10 billion had been put on CDF in the finance bill that was going to assist in digital centers across the country. And once you have free Wi-Fi, of course, you will call for free.
But we don't have free Wi-Fi.
I'm saying once we
When is that going to happen?
As I said, it was supposed to be our achievement in this finance bill. And I believe whether or not we raise that money in the finance bill, I believe we will be able to achieve.
Oh, so this finance bill is what was going to help you guys achieve the promises you made to us when the finance bill, the previous one was just there and it was fine.
You see, remember, you don't just enter office and make quick tax reforms. Yeah, you have to move progressively. Last year, this year, and so this year was the culmination, the final culmination of some of the projects. You don't forget, my brother, that the ASLA fund was implemented immediately when we got to office. The fertilizer was reduced. The prices of unga and so forth now is down. The prices of petroleum is down. The shilling has been properly managed. The debt was almost now this was the year to finalize this clear clarity on ability of the country to pay for this debt. So there is a progress on that report. And I am sure, because the president has stuck to his manifesto, I have no doubt in my mind that in 2027, he's not going just to come and ask for votes based on new manifesto. He will be accounting, he will be giving a report card to the people of Kenya. We are not even 2 years yet since we were in office. And there is a great progress in most of the things that we promised that we will do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's leave the president out of this.
Yeah.
We shall tackle him when we shall meet.
Absolutely.
Because now that part, the other ones was just floating.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up with the maandamano.
Yeah.
So tumechemusha, tumeanguka nayo, reject finance bill.
Yeah.
You've killed some of us, you've abducted some of us. Now, what are you saying to the family members that their people have been killed in the peaceful protests?
As I said earlier, I think it is extremely regrettable.
Okay.
Yeah, and my condolences to everybody. My utmost deep condolences to all families that were affected. The president on Sunday, was it which day? Monday? Today is? Yes. I thought when he had the show.
Monday.
He did it when? Friday. Yeah, I think he had the show on Thursday or Friday. Today is Monday, yes. Thursday or Friday. I'd promised that the government will find ways of supporting and the families that were affected. And even as a person, I would be happy to be part of a process of Kenyans pulling together. Even though many people said we don't want Harambes and so forth.
No, this is not Harambee.
I don't mind being part of a process of supporting those who have been affected by this, whether for medical reasons or people who lost their loved ones. I think it's a noble cause to be able to support them.
Let's do this. So we have lost about 41 people and counting. 41 are the ones that we know. I know there's a couple that waliuliwa na wakabebu wakaenda now. So hatujawaona.
Yeah.
So why don't you do something as CS Murkomen for those families? Wachana na government. Hizo kutenga na kupanga na kunini.
Through who? I would be more than happy to do so.
Do it through me, through Eric Omondi.
Yeah.
Through Makore, through all these other guys, through Boniface Mwangi. Through these people who are there, they can identify the families.
I will do
and
so.
You can say nimewapigia pole.
Yeah.
Ndio hii. Because also ukipiga tu pole na mdomo, sasa mkono mtu kwa ulambi.
No. As per your request, I will do so. I will. I know I have been accused several times about this much amount of money in Harambes and so forth. So to avoid a situation where, you know, people will say, oh, where did you get that money and so forth,
Yeah.
I'll do it the biblical way,
Okay.
which is that I will identify you outside this show. You can give me contact persons that we can work with, including yourself, and I will do it in a manner that they say the right hand will not know what the left hand did. It's not necessary for me to announce to the whole country, but I will support.
I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the left hand will not know what the right hand. There'll be no hand giving nothing.
Obinna, I will do it in a manner that let God bless me for it. I don't need to announce. I don't need to do anything. You know, we are in such a mood in our country that if I walk up today and say, I'll give 10 shillings, people will ask me, with your little salary, how did you give the 10 shillings?
Okay.
Yeah, so let's leave it at that level.
So I'll get
to
in touch
them.
with Boniface Mangi because he will be able to identify which families where.
No problem.
And
He also has my number and I have his number.
Yes, but
So
now I will spearhead this one and make
continue.
sure that I will hold you to book and say, these are the families that have been affected, higher. And I'll come back here and I'll tell people on Obinna Show Live, amefanya.
Yeah.
Na pia watasema at least wamepigiwa pole. Before the government compensates them adequately for the losses. We know we can't equate human life to any amount of money.
Absolutely.
But ile tu kupiga tu pole kusema,
That I will do.
okay.
That I will do.
Haya.
You can hold that. You can hold me into account on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sawa. Sasa tuanze maswali sasa. You ready?
Yes.
Brace for impact. Sasa ni moto.
Proceed.
Alafu sasa majibu zikuwe kidogo.
Okay.
Juu tumeshaongea for 1 hour
I
na
can see it's
tujaanza.
almost, yeah.
No, wako hapa. We have 9.5 thousand people watching.
Okay.
My people are always there.
Okay.
And wanaleta maswali. Tunakuja kwa za barabara. We're coming to the mabarabara maswali, but wacha kwanza tuanze. So, the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Most people don't like you. Most people feel you are egocentric.
Yeah.
Most people feel you are arrogant. Most people feel you come off very hauna utu. When you gaidi.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, you told me, but I have also seen it on social media and so forth and so forth. You know, when you... Sometimes I think it's a problem with those of us who had to fight our way to be where we are.
Okay.
Yeah. That doesn't really mean that I am not... I don't have... I am not...
Hauna roho.
Sina roho,
Ni kidney uko nazo
sina
tatu, hapa na hapa
empathy or
na
whatever. If you know where some of us have come from a squatter, living in shanties and having no permanent abode, to the life we've lived in, to the struggle we've come through it. I think when sometimes I become maybe aggressive in defending myself or defending my position. But for the people who know me, Obinna, I am not all those things that you see in social media.
Okay.
I'm not social. I am myself. I am that simple Mbobut boy, village boy. That one who grew up in the bush and that who was a squatter. Yeah, I identify with my roots. I am confident about where I come from. I do not apologize about the struggles that I've gone through. I empathize with the people. Remember, I was just a senator the other day, elected 3 times. You cannot be elected if you are going to be arrogant. I can tell you that for sure. If you are arrogant to people and so forth, you will never. You must be able to identify with the needs of the people. You must be able to work with the people. This arrogance thing is a political manipulation. People take one incident, for example, and you turn around, or someone sees you the way you have dressed, the way you have whatever, or in one incident you've told off an irritant somewhere, political irritant or something like that. Then people say, oh, this guy is arrogant and stuff. But in my normal life, I live my normal life. I walk in town, I go to shops, I go wherever. I go about doing my business. I don't think, and I don't like PR. I don't like PR. I don't like this life of, plastic life of trying to be what you are not. Yeah, I try just to do my things simply and go about my business. But I'm very passionate. Every time, anything I do it with all my heart.
You don't like PR but today unatupiga PR.
I don't.
Hiyo saa ya disco unavaa si ile saa tumejua. How can my watch be expensive than yours? It's not even adding up. Leo umekuja na saa ya disco. Inua hivi kidogo.
My friend, this is a very...
Korir, hebu zoom in hapa. Ona.
This is a very expensive watch. Yeah, very. This is Casio G-Shock. This is according to social media. Yeah, not according to me.
Okay.
According to social media, this watch costs about, I think I saw 400,000 or 700,000. But this is a very important watch to me. I tell you a small story.
Okay.
My first watch, I wore it in 1991. Yeah, I was then in class 6. My first watch.
Okay.
How did I get this watch? My father wanted to motivate me to work harder. Okay? He had seen me, I don't know, he had some watch there. I think it was given by his friend. So I always really liked my father's watch. So once in a while I would wear it and so forth. And then there was this priest called Father Reynard, who is, in where I come from, is like the first leader in our area. It's like the MP. So, in his, Father Reynard really used to pull his sweater up and so forth and had this very nice watch. So my father told me, okay, he realized that obsession with a watch. So he told me, if you become number 1, I was always number 3. I never used to beat the other 2 guys who were ahead of us. So I was number 3 and sometimes 4. So he told me, if you become number 1, I'll buy you a watch. My friend, I read, revised, read in one term. I became number 2. But this number 2, my teachers could not allow me to become number 1 because they were wondering how suddenly in one term I have moved from consistent number 3, number 4 to number 1. It's not possible. So I remember it was home science. I had got 88 marks, and I think the other guy got 87 or something like that. For some reason, I ended up having 85. I cannot forget that thing. As a result, the number 1 beat me with 1 mark. So I went home and I cried. Told my dad, I never managed it, despite the way I worked hard. There was a time I read at home because we were using, we used to have the tin lamp. You know?
Boy.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So, and you know, the smoke and all that. So I had read until my father told me, go and sleep, because it was about 3 in the morning. Just tell me, go to sleep. So, akanihurumia. Akaniambia, okay, you have earned it. So I don't know if he sold his mbuzi or kondo or whatever. He used to be a hustler also there. He had a shop or whatever. He bought me the first watch, which was a Casio. Yeah? It wasn't G-Shock then. It doesn't become a G-Shock then. So the other day, I was on an official trip. Yeah? And I found this Casio on one of the airports. And I bought it myself to remind myself of the first watch I ever wore. So this is very important for me. It's a vintage. It's okay. Even though the amount was like 9,000 shillings, but value-wise in my heart, yeah, it's more valuable than the other watches that are
this
trendy.
watch is 9,000?
It's about 9,000, yes.
USD?
Kenya shillings. But of course,
just checking.
Where I bought it was 9,000, but somebody told me the other day he saw it in one of the shops, 13,000 and so forth. Depends.
G-Shock?
Yeah, this is a G-Shock.
13,000?
Yeah. How much is it? And where you bought it?
Mi G-Shock yangu tofauti. Mi yangu ni zile zingine, but it's not 9,000, but it's mambo.
Lakini imelete pia.
Ipi imeleta mambo.
Juzi when I watch it, when I owe it, it quickly, it was like 400,000, 700,000. So it has its own problem.
Hii ni shamba hii.
Yeah?
Hiyo ni shamba.
Wakasema ni shamba.
Hiyo ile ingine ilikuwa pesa ngapi?
The other one was expensive. Yeah, let me just say the truth, because
nothing but the truth.
There's no point of lying that is not the truth. But it is not the cost that people present on social media. And the reason is because it was sold to me by my friend. Okay. There are 2 watches that keep popping in the social media. The first one, yeah, I bought it. Not as expensive as they talk about it. The second one, a friend of mine came and said, because he saw the ad on social media, he came and told me, I sell watches. Yeah? Do you want me to sell you Rolex? I said, yeah, why not? Yeah? He said, yeah. He sold me at a third of the price. Yeah, 30% of the price that is being used on social media, or thereabout. And he even gave me time to pay it slowly. No, that's true. That is true. And so recently I asked him, my friend, first you put me in trouble. And I'm sure he's watching. I hope he's watching. So I told him, my friend, you put me in trouble. But most importantly, why did you sell me this watch this cheaper than what people are saying about the watches in the market? He told me, I wanted to keep it for myself. But I didn't want to also to give you for free. I wanted you to feel like, you've spent something and valuable to you to take this watch. So, of course, he told me, yes, it is true. It is costing as high as some of the figures that I see on social media. So, Obinna, let me tell you something. In life, in this life that we live in, there are things that sometimes are vanity that you find yourself, you end up buying. For example, shoes. My wife, if we travel to her to a shop after church, and there's good shoes that are somewhere, she will tell me, hey, don't look that side, turn this way. In fact, now my children know. We go together, even the smallest ones. They say, Dad, don't look at that side, look at this way. Why? Because they know if I see a good shoe, I may forget that I was supposed to go and buy unga and buy the shoe. So you get yourself at home and you are like, the things that you wanted to buy that are very primary to you, why did you leave it and you go and buy something else? The truth, and I don't want to lie to you, the truth is that every human being, including yourself, there is that thing that diverts you away from using the resources you have to invest on something better. I appreciate the comments that have come from Kenyans to say, why are you wearing an expensive watch or an expensive shoes? And it is true. Had I taken this money, perhaps to invest in money market, to buy something in bonds and so forth, maybe it would have had me interest and move and do something else. Had I used that money to expand my avocado farm, maybe I would earn a few dollars by exporting those avocados and so forth. But once in a while in life, I really want to tell all Kenyans that have faulted me for wearing those watches that is my weakness. But I am willing to correct myself, because there is a verse in the Bible that says, if there is something that makes you to sin, if your eye makes you to sin, remove it. If your hand makes you to sin, it better be cut out. If a watch or a certain type of shoes are going to make the people I serve, distract their attention from the key things that I must be held account to, and perhaps divert attention of a citizen or a family member or whatever, I have said this to my friends, that watch can stay. Yeah?
But yours is not the problem in the watch or the shoe. The problem is the money.
The money of that watch.
Where are you getting the money to spend it? Because you have a lot of money that most people can't explain where it's coming from, and that's where the problem. People don't mind you wearing whatever.
Yeah.
But when you can't explain, that's when we're like, wait a minute. For example, let's just do a quick check. What's the most expensive shoe you have in your closet?
Most expensive shoe might be 70,000, 80,000.
Belt?
Belt 40, 50.
Never belt here 50,000.
Well, I want to be honest with you, yes.
Okay.
But I don't need to wear 2 belts in 2 years. 1 belt is enough. How many belts do you want?
Mimi niko na tatu za 50.
Havana, we ujui nunua belt moja ya 50,000, lakini nunua ya kupendua. Brown upande huu, black upande huu. Wewe ujui bwana.
Umeshani.
Na itakuwa ni quality. Sasa ukitanda brown side, people think you have another belt.
Nipige tu hiyo 50.
Yeah.
Nikupange. Haya, the most expensive watch you have?
That which I bought with my own money.
Yes.
Well, it was almost like, I think if I remember well, because it's time now, it's about 900,000 or something. That watch, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was, I think, a summary of that, yeah.
Haya. So if we do the quick math, for
Yeah.
example, of this expensive watch, then the belt ya 50,000 tuko 950, then tucheze na viatu. Umesema viatu ni 80?
Yeah.
Let's round it off to
80,
100.
yeah.
So let's say 1.1 something.
Yeah.
Someone can leave the house anatembea hivi.
Yeah.
Unajua kutoka juu mpaka chini,
Yeah.
amevaa kitu kama 1.5 because baada tujihesabu shati.
Uvai yote safari moja, we ujui.
Oh, sasa sina ndajuaje?
Yeah, uvai yote safari moja, unapanga.
Ukitoka na saa ya
Ukitoa
1
na saa
million,
expensive unavaa hii suit yako kidogo ya 20 or 30,000. So ile ingine
okay.
ina
una balance.
ina balance.
So nakupata. So tuseme hii ndo siku umetoka na saa ya 900.
Yeah.
Then umevaa suti ya 30,000.
Yes.
Tuko
Maybe
930.
something, yeah.
Nini ingine?
Yeah.
Tai?
Tai ni
20,000?
kitu kidogo 20 hivi. Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah, there about.
Unavaa? Okay.
Sikia, that watch ukinunua, and let me tell you something that somebody told me, because I'm now obsessed with these things and studying and so forth.
Okay.
If you buy watch, hiyo ya
100,000.
you wear it for 20 years.
Also so divide by the years.
You don't keep saying, mwezi ujao, another one, you know, something like that.
Okay.
Aya, if you buy your shoe, a nice shoe, you wear it for 2 years. Okay? If you buy a good belt, and I told you ununue yenye kupendua upande
kupindua, umesema unanipea 50,000.
Unavaa hiyo 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. So this way I was going.
Na bado unang'ara tu
Okay. So this way I was going.
Alafu unatafuta time nzuri na shine hivi
ya 30,000.
15 20 inang'ara
Tai.
Una survive nayo.
Wacha tusiingie personal. Haya.
But to be very honest, Obinna, I was free to tell you this story. Maybe I've even forgotten myself that we are in other people are watching. I'm free to tell you this story because...
So ni adjust ya kama ikako kidogo.
Okay.
Hivi.
Hivi.
Kama tilt. No. Weke straight. No, this one, hold here. Hold this one. Then weka straight.
Sijajua hii sana, so nime...
Sasa Rubea amefanya nini? Acha ni ku adjust kidogo.
Okay.
Unajua umeongea juu ya tie. Acha nishike tie ya 30,000.
Hii si ya 30.
Oh, hii ni ya 50.
Hii leo.
Leo
kwa sababu nimekuja na G-Shock, nimekuja na ya 15 or so.
Oh, hii ni ya 15,000.
Yeah. Sasa you are saying, I was telling you why.
Tiny 15.
That's what I was saying. What I was trying to tell you is that, you know, sometimes I find it very unfortunate, that you appoint somebody a cabinet secretary, okay? You're a former senator. You know, a senator in a month, would earn certain good amount of money, a lawyer who runs business, a farmer who has export of cash crops and so forth, like I do, a few investment here and there. Now, you appoint them to office, okay? They buy maybe one piece of a tie, one trouser here, or one whatever, or in his obsession, he has exported his few avocados here and there, buys himself a good watch or something like that. And you have so many public officers who have far much more valuables. And then an entire conglomeration of a country reduces himself to discussing this watch, to this shoe, to this tie, to this whatever. Do you know one thing I'm very proud of, Obinna? That in 2 years I've kept my vow that I was not going to engage myself in corrupt activities, that I was not going to involve myself in scandals. Do you know when people are feeling sad for me? Many people have called me, feeling very sad for me, that, oh, why are people discussing one watch? Why are people discussing your shoe? And I've told them one thing. There is a silver lining in this discussion. And the silver lining is this. It is 2 years down the line, nobody, not a single person, has accused me of corruption.
Si ulipatwa Dubai na pesa ngapi? Ulishikwa Dubai. Ulikuwa Dubai na 200, was it 200 million USD? I mean,
I
200 million.
think it was 210.
You think or you know? You think what you don't
300. Was it
know.
210?
Ulikuwa na pesa ngapi Dubai?
Tumeambiwa
200 million?
Did they say 200, I think?
Ilikuwa 280 million. Was it USD or Kenya shillings? USD.
I think USD. 210 million USD.
Hey!
Do you know how many pickups are those?
I have no idea. Never.
I think that would be about 3 or 4 pickups of dollars.
I wonder how you know.
So how do you carry?
Pickup.
No, I've had to do a calculation of weight and what because of course I saw it on social media.
Ulikuwa umeziweka kwa bag.
I see it on social media.
Ama ulikuwa nazo wapi?
If you have to carry that amount of money, you would need the entire I don't know, a whole section of a plane to carry it. And I think my friend, you can't even pass a hotel like this with that money.
Ulishikwa Dubai. Tuanzie hapo.
Dubai ya Kenya. Because you know, when they were saying nimeshikwa kwa Dubai, I was in Nairobi. So, when even the president was being asked that this week that your minister alishikwa nini. So, I don't know, Dubai. Dubai, you mean Dubai, United Arab Emirates?
Yeah,
or Dubai
uko.
Somewhere in Kenya? I think let's be serious.
So,
let's a bit more serious. I mean, really. You know what, by the time we pick any social media stories that even doesn't have a name, it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have a reporter, you know, I am used to that. I am absolutely used to fake news.
So what's the biggest amount of money you might be cash?
By law, you cannot be allowed to carry more than 1 million shillings out of the country.
No, not by law.
Yeah.
If you're thinking what I'm thinking.
To carry cash to where? Within the country?
Yeah, let's talk about within the country.
Within the country, maybe 1.5, 2 million.
Cash EV?
Yeah.
Dollars?
Not dollars, Kenya shillings. To get dollars here is not a joke. It's not easy. I do some few exports here and there. It's very difficult.
Could travel out?
You travel out, the maximum you can take, because nowadays, you know there is law. So if you carry cash, you get to some countries, they will write for you. You have to declare. You have to declare amount of money, and sometimes it's illegal to get to carry. The most I've carried in my ever travel since I was born is about $10,000. The most, and to countries where you know maybe your card will not work and so forth. One day we went for a trip. I was in Senate to country X. Let me not say where it was. And then I went with a friend of ours. We reached there, my friend. Our cards refused. Yeah, we booked the hotels online, but the card refused. We were in trouble. We could not call. We could not. It was past banking hour in Kenya. We could not get to the hotel. We tried. For some reason, one of our colleagues, his card went through. Yeah, we went and squatted in his room to
Remember
survive.
that watch for 900,000?
Yeah.
That part?
Yeah.
Is when it could have come through.
That watch, I would have taken the cash or sell it or give out to somebody.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm actually told by those people who collect watches that if you keep this watch for a number of years, the value will go up. So I hope so. I hope it's not like Mercury.
There are a few collectibles
have you operated in Nairobi and then you are told, unapata mtu, you know, for us who came from village to the city, so when I first came to the city, unapata mtu anakuambia Mercury, mtu anakuita, because they know unakaa mshamba anakuambia niko na Mercury hapa, ni ya pesa sijui ngapi. So sometimes people tell you that a watch will appreciate and then maybe it is like that Mercury. I hope it's not... one of those
some
podcasts.
do. There are collectibles that do.
Yeah.
Like Rolexes are very few, and they are.
I'm told so, and I hope also my Rolex is genuine, because I hear it's now suffering a lot of. A lot of what.
You've just said that for the last 2 years, you've not engaged in any corrupt situation.
For my entire life.
Or your entire life.
My entire life.
But during the X-Space, when the president was being engaged, you are being mentioned as being amongst the most corrupt CSS.
I have never.
Na kuona hivi wanasema ukigoogle corrupt picha Murkomen, boom.
I've never. I am, as I told you, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Okay. But I have never come too closer to anything called corruption.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when people see you are managing certain ministry, yeah, quickly the thing comes to mind is that he must be stealing money. But let me tell you something. You see the person who always thinks about other people stealing money, it is what is in their head. Because they believe if I was in that position, ningebeba ningechota kitu.
So hujabeba kitu?
Never.
Ni salary yako tu?
And I will not.
Umesema luku umekuwa unapiga ukiwa hata senator juu ya salary.
My friend, the same places I have gone even in the Senate in town here to buy clothes, it's the same places. It never changed.
Okia Omtata alipangwi?
Analipwa, but maybe anaweka pesa yake kwa...
Because gari anaendesha, manguo anavaa, but ni senator.
I know his salary is higher than mine.
Okia Omtata?
Yes, almost twice.
But he ana watch ya 900,000.
He might have chosen to invest in a farm in Busia.
But you also have a farm of avocado.
That's what I'm saying. He might have chosen to invest in something else. My friend, I know friends that, when they go for a weekend somewhere, wanasema blue level, sijui 20-year-old, 30-year-old. Everybody has their own way of investing their resources. Yeah. So I cannot vouch for how another person uses his resources. And by the way, given 1 million, you and me, yeah, each one of us will invest differently. Maybe you'll go to land. Maybe I'll go to money market. No, I'm just saying, I'm giving an example.
Niulize tu.
Another person.
Above the head. Anguka nayo.
So all of us have a different ways of spending what we have.
Okay.
I think that because, and I'm now more conscious and knowledgeable about what's happening, because Kenyans don't want me to wear certain watches and certain shoes. That's a small price to pay so that I concentrate on doing my job.
So you'll never wear the watch for 900,000?
Let it stay. My sons can wear or my... Or I can, donate to somebody else. Lete pesa bana.
Wacha maneno.
Lete pesa. Ndakukatia.
I'm missing 900,000. So you came out and you called on all public servants and state officers to be audited.
I agree. I believe in it.
Why are you not the first?
I'm ready.
Do we start with you?
Yes. So any day. In any case, we make our financial declaration every day. Why am I not
can make other ninis? Si mambo inafanya namna hii.
I am ready to be audited.
Okay.
Yeah. Just provide the legal framework, or the standards, or the form, or whatever, or send me on WhatsApp. I will answer every question.
Okay. Mesikiza,
do you know the paradox, Obinna? I didn't want to say this further. Where I live, okay? Where I live.
In Nairobi ama Ushago?
Let me just use like Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah? Is many, many times more than the watch, the cost. Okay? Took me about 10 years to buy and build. Okay? The car I used to drive, I used to drive. Let me say I used to, because I use government car now. Okay. It's a JKIA car. The car I used to drive, and which is still at my home, is many times more expensive than this watch. Yeah? Yet, when people discuss these things about me, when I went to Parliament, I declared that I was worth 550 million. Yeah? My total worth. It is in public domain. It's not a secret. Yeah? I provided, they asked me which assets, which whatever, what are you doing, and so forth. I provided that information. It is easy to audit me because it's just a progression from the 550, where are you now? Where have you gone, and what did you do? I went to become a cabinet secretary. How much loan did I take? What have I invested in? What has it come back to me? How much salary do I have, and so forth? It's very easy.
Okay.
It is.
Aye. You used to live in Kutunyi's house. Ama Kutunyi's wife used to give you money.
No. I think it will be unfair to discuss somebody's wife or somebody's family. Yeah.
We're just discussing that part because I mentioned it in the interview. Then ukaruka 50 foot. You didn't even give the flowers. Ukasema nyewe mulinisaidia na fare ama muku nipea fare. So hiyo ilikuwa story ya.
No, I really want not to discuss Honorable Kutunyi, but he was my client. The relevant period of time that he's discussing was my client.
Okay.
And I provided proper legal services to him
Okay.
And to his family members, that remains confidential between me and him.
Okay.
And the few legal fees he paid me, because he was a member of parliament and I was a upcoming advocate, I just joined parliament. The few legal fees he paid me, I put it into good use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your beef with Cherargei?
I don't have a beef. He was my student. He was like that even in class. Yeah. He was always, I don't have any beef with him. Cherargei, that is his personality. He was that active in class. He wanted to look and sound different. And I have nothing personal with him. He also, he's a senator, so he has to hold me into account. The only thing that I've told him is that don't go beyond. You remember you were saying, I have $200 million somewhere. Was it? No, $100 million, which if you calculate was about 15 billion at that period of time, and he knows my accounts and he knows what. I wrote him a letter to explain whether he knows, and I had to take action, legal action against that. But all these other things, when he calls me incompetent, it's not done this and done that, those are points of opinion and he's entitled to it. And I have no issue with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that one thing that you think Kenyans don't know about you?
So many things, of course.
That is nice.
No, even bad ones.
Let's talk about the bad ones. Let's drop one.
What don't Kenyans know about me? Now I've become a book. Yeah, I've become too open. I've been on TV for 17 years. So when you do this interview, this other interview, it's been pieced together.
They put together,
and so people know me so much. But what I want to repeat with you, I said elsewhere.
Yeah.
And my children always laugh at me for that. I don't know how to ride a bicycle.
Huh?
I don't know how to ride a bicycle.
Oh, wow. I was thinking, and then you just...
I don't know how to ride a bicycle.
Why don't you know how to ride a bicycle?
Because where would I get a bicycle in Embobut? Okay. And then even if you were given a bicycle in Embobut, you would carry the bicycle more than it would carry you. Because the whole place was hilly, no road, nothing. Which other thing that people may not know about me? I don't know. Maybe, yeah. There's so many other things that I'm sure as you progress along life, people, you remember that. Oh yeah. These people don't know me. Why propaganda really is easy to run around people?
Yeah.
Is when you look like you are pushing some things. Of course, I put myself also on line of fire too many times. So, of course, I've wronged so many people. The other thing is that some people think, this one is too small to hold certain offices and positions and so forth. I've seen even certain people think about maybe they see where I come from and all that, and they think, some of them even think I'm not educated, some kind of a thing. Or I come from such a small village like Jesus in Nazareth that nothing good can come from there and so forth. But I'm used to that. What keeps me going every day is my faith in God. Yeah, I don't like to say that many times out there. It's my faith in God. I have such a strong belief that what God has planned for me and my destiny is nothing is God. I don't think I am so right before God. I don't think I have walked straight before Him. I have made so many mistakes, but my belief in God and faith in God is firm.
Okay.
And by the way, I used to be CU chair.
Yeah, you said you're organizing CU Ninis in uni.
I used to be the Christian Union chair in Parklands campus, University of Nairobi, for Thika region that time, and the whole CUs in the country.
At what point did you put Jesus aside?
At the time when people started saying that I'm corrupt and I am propaganda and all that, to be very honest, I can never live without Jesus. If there was no God in my life or Jesus in my life and I didn't have faith, I would be useless. Let me tell you, I'll never even be holding this office. Everything I have, everything I am, without the Bible like this, I would be nothing. In fact, even my political career would be useless because it is founded on not just the scripture, but outrightly surviving on memory verses to be elected. You know, and, and so that is my life. If I say this out there, so many people will say, but you have so many misdemeanors.
Yeah.
Or you've committed so many sins. But the Bible says he without sin can stand up and raise his hand. Okay. For me, every day is I live because God wants me to fulfill a particular vision. And by the way, when people even threaten me sometimes and say, oh yeah, you will lose this, you will lose that, I keep telling them, I will never lose that God never wanted me to lose.
Okay. Aya, now before you go to the roads now, now we start holding you to book. Nataka sama swali zikuje tukuulize hii barabara hii ulifanya before you get there.
You didn't tell me you were sleeping here.
No, we are not sleeping. We just about 15,
you just told
15
me,
more
oh,
minutes.
Yeah, you told me, oh yeah, come at 10.
But sasa, if you answer one question in 1 hour, sasa wewe umetufanya most of the talking. Na sijakuuliza zile maswali nilikuwa nimeandika because nilikuwa nimekuandikia maswali. Kwa kuna zijibu hivi hivi.
Yeah, sawa.
For example, how come nearly all your projects you normally quote a ballpark figure of 700 million?
That's another one. Because 7 biblically is a perfect number. It is such a coincidence. No, I'm just saying. Jokingly, I hope I have not messed up your mind. Jokingly, yes. But honest, jokingly, 7 is a perfect number. It's such a coincidence. At the point when I say it's 7, I'd say 700 billion of the pending bills, which is now have come down to about 650 billion total cumulative of the committed infrastructure in the country that needs to be completed. And then I said the destruction of expressway was 700 million shillings from the quotation I was given at that point in time. But these are figures I read. So sometimes when I get it and they give me in the ministry and say something is 337 million shillings, I say, you have brought 7 again. Because some people started picking it and say, so I see all the time on my tweet, I say, he wants another 700 million. It's a joke that I like because of what people come from, but it was based on the figure. Actually, when it caught fire online is when you remember the Mandamano of last year early, and there was a destruction of the expressway, and the figures that were estimated by the engineers were 700 million. I'm very happy that that figure was absorbed by the concessionaire, and it did not get transferred to the government of Kenya. They agreed to absorb the figure on the destruction that had happened on the expressway. Okay.
Do you ever see yourself going back to elective politics?
I don't know. I live one day at a time. My focus at the moment is to leave a lasting legacy in the responsibility that I have. Okay. I am grateful to God that He gave me a chance to serve at this point and this level. And elective position, I don't know, not in the near future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the president had also entrusted a lot of young people with powerful positions. For example, Soro. We have Ichungwa.
Yes.
We have Sopian Tuya.
Yes.
We have yourself, Aaron Churiot, and the rest. Do you think these young people that the president put in such positions are the ones that are failing the president?
I will speak for, I don't think these young people are failing the president or failing the country. I think each one of us, we are trying to do our best to deliver on our responsibilities. And I think I want people to judge us by our actions and the things we are delivering than just merely the age. For example, Aaron Churiot took over the position I had before. He's doing a fantastic job. Okay. Kimani Ichungwa took from something that my colleague Duale used to have before. Of course, Kimunya was in between, just like between me and Aaron was Pokisho, but he's doing a very good job. The problem is that many people look at only the negative. Leading is a very difficult, complex act, and you have to negotiate many things to be able to succeed. There are so many young people across the country now that are in different leadership positions, from MCAs to a few of us who are in the cabinet, myself, Soipan, as you said. We are not too young, though. I don't think I can still qualify to call myself young people. But of the youngest among the cabinet secretaries, I think we are all trying our best to make sure that we deliver on our mandate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to transport kidogo, aviation.
Yeah.
We're so sad we lost Ogola, CDF Ogola.
Sad, yeah.
Plane crash.
Sad.
You also had a crash landing.
Mm-hmm.
Are Kenyans safe in the air?
They are. Our airspace is one of the safest in the region. I can tell you that without fear of contradiction. We've put measures in place to even make it better. You remember I gazetted a task force the other day to do comprehensive investigation of aeroplane accidents in Somalia and South Sudan, of aeroplanes that are registered, because that is the standards in the International Civil Aviation Authority. I gazetted them the other day to go and investigate them, because we want to make sure that our country is safe and the accidents have been minimized. The accident and incidents have been minimized. Yeah. In the recent past, of course, it was very sad, the peculiar collision that happened at the Wilson Airport between a student pilot and a commercial aeroplane. General Okola's accident, and also the accident that involved myself and others. And, you know, thank God it didn't go too far. It was a serious thing, by the way. We just downplayed it.
What happened?
I don't know. We just took off.
Chopper.
And then, yeah. And then the whole thing became red all over and made the weirdest noise. And we were about to go down a cliff. So we, luckily I was sitting in front. I was very calm. I told the pilot, land. Anyway, I don't want to disclose what happened to him because I've not his permission, but once we landed down, I was the first one to get out, and also the one who tapped him to switch off the plane, and we got out. Most of my staff, because we had a camera person, we had security people, we had Honorable Caleb Kostan. A number of them were really, really shaken for a moment. I never allowed myself to get shaken. I just called a colleague who was there who had another chopper, and they gave us, and I proceeded to the funeral of the
Ukapanda chopper ingine?
Yes, to the funeral of the mother of my MD of Kenya Airports Authority in Migori. I went straight to Migori for the funeral. And yeah, I never gave myself time to worry about what exactly happened. Okay. Of course, as I was going, I could see the hate. That's why I told you I'm used to. I'd see a number of people in social media to say, oh, that plane made a mistake, that guy should have died, you know, those kind of things. The hate that happens in this world.
Do they affect you?
Not now, not so far. So what I am now struggling with, and my wife also has become, in the initial years when I started politics, those things used to affect us. Yeah, the insults and all that. But now, over time, I have become immune. But it's good to be immune, but also don't become numb. Because when you become numb, nothing will bother you. You know, you will now not care about anything else. So it's good to not to bother yourself so much. I read so many of the comments there saying that guy should have died, even from people I know. I know, you know, there's so many people on social media, they don't think I know them. They don't know I know he's from me either, because I know. Sometimes somebody insults me today, yeah? 1 year down the line, we meet or they talk to you, they tell you, Mwesh, I have a problem, I need your help, nini. Sometimes they just ask, is that you? Really? You forgot. He said, no, Mwesh, don't take it serious. These are things, your social media too, these are jokes. We don't mean it. They don't believe that it affects people's families and people's lives. So we got used to. What I get bothered with now are the kids. The kids are now teenagers. So what I'm wondering is that soon they will have phones and all that. My son, who is in a school somewhere, that particular day, the friends had seen it online. So they went and told him, we have a story to tell you, but it's not bad. Your dad was involved in an accident, but he's okay. So I'm just wondering, even that sad news only is not easy. But I'm also wondering when they now Google in the near future. I have denied them phones to a certain extent. But when they start having these phones on their social media, their father, they're saying he was arrested in Dubai. I wonder. So we are trying to train them because those are the hazards.
Kenyans with tax.
Yeah, is killing people. Your father, you blah, blah, blah. Your father is incompetent, he's whatever.
He's
corrupt, he is stolen. All the things you guys have are for theft and so forth. So slowly, I need to start now socializing them to this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a CS for transport, what do you consider your biggest achievement so far? Nini umefanya unasema this is going to be my legacy?
I think, let me speak for the transport sector, not the road sector.
Okay.
On the air transport, I think we have done very well to work on the airport. When we came to the airport, the Greenfield Terminal had a case in Paris of 20 billion shillings. And the people had demanded the government of Kenya to pay 20 billion for a botched contract of 2016. I am very happy that we negotiated that out until the only government paid damages of about 650 million, and we cleaned the place. We are now doing a procurement process. My biggest contribution to the country is to see that Jomo Kenyatta International Airport has a new terminal. And I believe that if we get the process right, by early next year, we will have a contractor who will come in and construct a brand new modern terminal so that we don't continue discussing all the time about the leakage and so forth and so forth.
That swimming pool.
That will be huge, particularly if we do so under PPP. In the aviation sector also, I inherited a number of airstrips contracts in airstrips that were not functioning. I'm glad that we've negotiated all of them. Ukunda in Diani, we managed to clear the squatter issues there and finished the extension of the runway, which was ongoing. Now we have bigger planes landing in Ukunda and we're building the terminal. I am happy that we started a new route for flights to Migori, and to Kabunde, that is Kabunde, in Homa Bay. And we have now scheduled flights to Homa Bay and Migori. We have also scheduled flights to Kakamega. I am also very happy that we are now rehabilitating most of our... we are completing also the airstrips. That is Nanyuki, Nakuru, Angama. We are finishing the one for Manda. We are sorting and we cancelled the contract on the one of Lokichokyo, and we are getting a new contractor. Those all those things that are stalled in the previous administration for 2-3 years. All of them now we are bringing back the contractors to complete them. We are working also, and I'm very happy that Wilson Airport, which had been left for many years without rehabilitation, we have just finished the process of contracting, and the contractor is moving to site so that we make sure that we rehabilitate the infrastructure. We don't find ourselves in the same problem that we have in Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. We fixed the roof in Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and now we are moving to the process of that covered roof is going to have a better terminal around that place so that it can give more services to the people of Kenya. Mombasa, we are doing something about the airport in Mombasa. That is in the aviation sector. In the railway, we are making sure that we rehabilitate the railway in Nairobi. We have built about 10 new railway stations. Tomorrow I'll be visiting some of them in Nairobi. We have also done an extension of SGR of Mombasa using MGR to Miritini to town, so that the people of Kenya, when they leave from Nairobi to Mombasa, they don't just get stopped at the SGR terminus. They can move to the town itself. And the process of that connection and the terminal is ongoing in the construction. We are also rehabilitating the connection in Anyuki. We are doing the ones that is going to Malaba. We operationalized the yard in Malaba, and working together with the Minister of Uganda, we managed to ensure that railway seamless connectivity between wagons that move from Kenya to Uganda is seamless, and the Ugandan people are very happy, and business people, and it has increased the volume of business that comes through SGR to the ICD to Mombasa to Kampala. People will be very happy to know that the SGR services from Nairobi to Mombasa now has new coaches, including new first-class coaches. That makes it affordable for more people to travel. We have increased the number of people who are using SGR. The revenue has doubled up for both cargo and the passenger. And we have worked out a model to attract more business people to use the SGR. It had dipped to go down, but we worked on the tariff to make sure that goods can come from the SGR, more goods can come from SGR. We have certain services that are going on, a number of programs that are going on with SGR. But most importantly, I am working on negotiating a new model of funding the SGR to move from now Naivasha to Malaba through Kisumu. And we want to use public-private partnerships, a combination of private sector investment with a railway development levy and also support of our development partners. This model, we are working on it before the president can go for FOCAC this year, which is the Forum for China and Africa in September. And I hope that through that we can have build this railway line to move to Malaba. If you look at also what we are doing in the seaport, we have done tremendously well in the port of Mombasa. Tremendous. The volumes that we are clearing now have increased, by about 500,000 TEUs. We have some of the biggest ships are now docking in Mombasa, courtesy of us making sure that our clearance processes are fast. We are the top 3 best ports in Africa now on efficiency as a country. And we are investing in widening the berth. I have shepherded investment of 50 billion shillings in the Dongokundu berth that is now, the contractor is going to start anytime in the next 1 month to go on site. We are finishing something on taxation, and then the contractor will go on site. We are guiding the process of investing in Dongokundu Special Economic Zone, clearing the squatter issue, and already we have given out investment places in the Dongokundu investment area. We are doing fantastic job in the Lake Victoria with the Kenya Ports Authority. We are building piers in Homa Bay, Kendu Bay, and working towards getting a ferry that goes to Mfangano Highland for the first time. Lake Victoria is one of the most beautiful parts of the country. And by the way, have you gone to Homa Bay? It's one of the beautiful, best areas in this continent. We want to open up those areas for tourism and investment by making sure that the road network is also complemented by the lake network that's going to make it more attractive for tourism and more hotels built in that area. If you go to, I've talked about the air also. Air, I let in so many flights to come to the country. Fly Dubai going to Mombasa, Air Indigo coming to the airport, and new airlines are coming to the country. We are revamping and refurbishing the cargo sector. Kenya Airways is beginning to become operational and improving on its income and revenue, although they are still struggling with a subsidy. So on the transport sector, for the first time in the Republic of Kenya, we had the largest cargo docking in Lamu Port, and 60,000 metric tons of fertilizer destined to southern Ethiopia were cleared in the Lamu Port for the first time. Even now, they are still being evacuated, and those goods are passing through Kenya up to Moyale. Fantastic. The negotiations were led by the president, and I worked with the ministers of Ethiopia, and they finally allowed us to have that cargo come to the country. By the way, I can list for you so many things that we are doing in transport. If you come to road transport, first, road infrastructure, the biggest thing I will be able to help the country achieve is the dualing of the road from Mombasa to Malaba. As you very well know, we have been guiding the investors. There is an investor that is called Everstrong that wants to invest in the road between Mombasa to Nairobi. But part of that Mombasa to Nairobi, my first assignment to go to Korea with the president. The president negotiated and we worked together to make sure that we got funding to do dualling of Mombasa Road from Lolongo, where the expressway ends, up to Emali, funded by the Korean government. And we are now doing the feasibility study, and hopefully by next year we access the funding to dual up to Emali. And then the remaining part of it, the investor is going to put, and we are going to co-invest so that tolling and dualing of the roads can happen. The Rironi-Mau Summit from here up to Malaba is one of the most important projects. I'm working with there was an existing contractor who was there, but it was extremely expensive and wanted to transfer the cost to the people of Kenya. We are trying to disengage in that arrangement, and hopefully by January next year we get a new investor to do PPP. And as I've told some people, many people were saying, oh, Kipchumba is doing nothing and so forth. It's just a matter of time. Once we get that contractor on site to do all this road up to Malaba, we are going to make a big difference in terms of doing these roads. The difference between myself and my predecessor is that most of the projects I have to deliver using PPP, because we are now incapacitated to borrow. In the last 10 to 15 years, actually 20 years, from the time President Kibaki came to office up to 5 years or so when President Uhuru exited, we had such level of liquidity and ability to borrow that now has clocked the system. We are unable to borrow during our time. So what works best for us is to make sure that we get PPP projects to deliver the grand projects that we dream for. And to achieve PPP projects is not easy, my friend. Okay. You negotiate because you are getting an investor to bring fast his money and to be able to move it. I promise the country that we are going to put cameras on the roads, and it's going to help us in the speed enforcement. And I told the Kenyans by December, the contractor will have gone to site. I will keep my promise. And December this year.
It's been 2 years already.
My friend.
Do we have any project that has already happened? Because now you're talking about how the feasibility study is going to start.
On most of those, most capital intensive projects, what I've told you, you don't start today and it happens today.
Yeah, but it's 2 years already.
Even 3 years, even 4.
Before it happens.
It takes longer. Okay. But what we have done is to move the procurement process faster so that in our third year, which I believe in the 2025, most of these contractors will be on site. On the road sector, let me just complete this. On the road sector, we have got ITS projects. ITS, Intelligent Traffic System, that is going to deal with 125 junctions in Nairobi. I'm glad that all the contracts have been signed and the contractor now is moving to site to contract. We are doing BRT system, the 5 BRT lines in Nairobi, again to enable us to move mass transit of people in the city. The BRT process, part of it will be PPP, part of it is going to be funding. I went to Europe and we got the money from the European Union, 49 billion, to do the Dandora line. That is going to help us to move forward. You know that the contractor is on site also constructing the railway, a new railway line from Riruta here to Ngong. And we want to make sure that from Ngong, it goes all the way to Kiseria, via Kiserian to Rongai, and hopefully finally to Galeria, so that we move more people by rail. By far, we are revamping the rail system you saw the other day, the cabinet approved funding from the World Bank for us to revamp the railway system all the way 58 kilometers up to Thika. That is going to make a difference in this city. We've constructed during these 2 years new tarmac roads of 1,000 kilometers all over the country, bits and pieces all over the country, because, as I told you, we have a pending bill at the moment of 165 billion shillings. On that 165 billion shillings, the president and the government said we hold road construction a little bit, we settle the part of the debt. We were hopeful that we were going to embark now on bringing back our contractors. I want you to remember that before we came to office, I came to office and it was 150 billion, that money, because my predecessor, 2 to 3 years before he left the office, they were unable to progress with the contractors because we reached a stage where we borrowed, we started new projects, we never had the money to be able to run those projects, and it has stalled. Our hope, and I promise the people of Kenya, sometimes to stop the propaganda that people think, if you go to Mount Kenya region, someone says, Mount Kenya region roads are going on, coast is not going on. If you reach coast, coast people say, if you go to Mount Kenya, they will say coast is going on, Mount Kenya is not going on. Nyanza, the same. I want to tell the people of Kenya, roads have stalled in the entire republic. And let's not, it's all over the republic.
Okay.
And the budget that we had last year, we were given 51 billion, only 26 was disbursed. This year, the president has promised that now we have to do something despite the finance bill collapsing to find ways of making sure that we complete these roads. And I am very hopeful. I know the reputational challenge that I'm going to go through by virtue of not having the money and the roads have stalled. But as a cabinet secretary who is responsible for his country, it is a smaller problem for me to be called incompetent because the contractor has not gone back to site. It's a smaller problem than for Kenyan to borrow haphazardly just to meet those demands. We must structure well our financial system to make sure that when we borrow, we are borrowing and making these things available. But be it as it may, donor-funded roads are also ongoing. The road from Mombasa to Mtwapa to Kilifi is ongoing. From Mtwapa also coming to town is also ongoing, and it has gone very well. Kwanjomvu Mariakani is ongoing. Some of the roads like Thika, Magumu is ongoing. Isiolo Modogashe is ongoing, and I promise the people of Kenya that for the first time this administration, before next elections, will have substantially delivered part of the 750-kilometer road between Isiolo up to Mandera for the first time. Okay. And this we are working with our development partners.
So now let's leave the things that need money to donors and PPPs and everything. Now let's come back to things that are already operational. Let's come back to vehicles.
Yes.
Let's come back to the traffic on the road, right? A lot of people see the situation that's happening now and they wish Michuki was back. You see, we have a lot of...
because what did Michuki do?
We have a lot of unroadworthy cars that are still on the road, smoke. We have public service vehicles driving on the wrong side. And even Waishimiwas. By the way, what's your take on that? Waishimiwas driving on the wrong side of the road, overlapping, the siren madness. We have that. We have vehicles that sometimes you just look at them on the road, you're like, really?
This one is too old to be
Yeah, the seatbelt part is not back.
Yeah.
How is the accidents? How are you now preventing accidents? Then you also have a lot of roads that have poor lighting. The bumps are not marked. There are no signs. You just appear a bump and you hear pop.
That's true. Can I start with the bumps
Yes.
and the unmarked signs and so forth? That is where the problem is. A contractor is on site, is partly paid, he has not completed the road, he has left a site, he's not marked the bumps, he's not done this, and you tell him, go back to site, tell you, pay me my money. And that is the problem all over the country. You have roads that are totally unmarked all over because he has not completed. And we are asking ourselves, if we don't pay these people, it's going to continue giving us problems. In fact, I have told the engineers that we need to develop new systems where a contractor completes a milestone completely, including marking. So that if there is not enough money to complete the road...
That would be way better.
That's what I'm saying. We need to change. But at the moment, all the contracts that have been instructed know that they do first the road and they come back to the marking. Yeah, the marking and so forth.
Yeah,
so the biggest issue, it goes back to what we discussed earlier about the pending bills and finance to people. On the madness on the roads, have you seen a traffic policeman in any of our roads?
We see a couple of traffic police.
No, not like in the past.
No, I was in Kisumu the other day. There were traffic policemen.
Not like in the past.
Not like in the past, but they are there. I drove to Game.
Have you seen a traffic police car with a siren?
No, I've not seen the traffic police car with a
So
siren.
what happened?
We're talking about
I'm just giving you, I was just asking you, telling you that question because many Kenyans forget that. When the former president in 2018, I don't know what had happened, he just woke up and said, NTSA, fold your things, go back to office. NTSA are not supposed to be on the road. Take all your vehicles, give it to the traffic police. Okay? So NTSA wound up everything, took it to the traffic police. What happened to the traffic police? In the traffic police department, he reached there and said, traffic police should not be centralized, decentralized. At the moment, we have a traffic police department that is not functional. That is a fact. That is not even operating and not financed.
So our traffic police wanaokota nini kwa barabara?
No, I'm just saying.
Those are illegal.
No, they are not illegal. I will come to that. I'm saying it's not functional to the level that is supposed to be. For they are not resourced there to do so. So you have few police officers just showing you move here. They have no capacity, enough good numbers for enforcement. Because then meanwhile, NTSA are told, leave the road. You can't do the enforcement. So recently, when the accidents became too much, I said, even as we wait for the cameras and so forth in our highways, as I said, I promised the people of Kenya that by December the contractor will be on site. You've seen the cameras I have put in different places for testing. There's one in Thika Road, there's one in Kinungi, there's one in Southern Bypass, there's one in Mombasa Road. This is just to test the process that we are working on. As we work on that, I requested then NTSA to go back and work with the police, to assist the police. But because this is that was an ad hoc thing, we are now working on trying to see where do we get raised resources to again resource the NTSA itself. And if things work the way we want the traffic police officers to again be reseconded to NTSA to help in enforcement and find ways of ring-fencing some of the resources collected from services offered to the people of Kenya through NTSA to plow it back to road safety. Because yes, you remember we were with the president this year and we launched our strategy on road safety. And you remember he told me that the numbers must come down, otherwise you'll be in big trouble. So we're working on. I tell you, Obinna, also that statistics cannot lie. My good predecessor, may his soul rest in peace, Michuki. Michuki did those things in 2004. Yeah, 2004. There have been many other ministers of transport in between. What Michuki succeeded to do is to introduce this order of safety belt, 14-seater, and so forth, and speed governor and so forth. What he did not manage to reduce is road accidents. The statistics is clear. Even by 2012, it had gone very high up. So my hardest responsibility now is to put in place systems of accountability that make the drivers more accountable. When I announced to the country that we are going to have vehicular telematics, I meant it. And we just finished gazetting the standards of vehicular telematics in the country that will ensure that what those telematics are going to be in place. Now we are going to work with the SACCO so that we install, instead of a speed governor, we install telematics where the car can be monitored from our NTSA headquarters and the offices of the SACCOs. Then you can be able to see a vehicle, their speed, and you can even see the driver driving. And you can tell where people are, many in the car or few and so forth. Those are not new things because transport companies are using them now, especially the oil transporters. Usually they monitor their drivers. If they see they are dozing, they say stop there, park the car, go sleep. And that was a legacy that came after the Sachangwan accident. That is why you see many of the, apart from pipeline being able to evacuate the oil, many also of the oil transporters are not causing accidents because they have improved the safety using that method. I would like, after these processes are done, to then propose to the country that we adopt vehicular telematics as a solution to monitoring these vehicles on accidents. Enforcement on the road, I can tell you, the last few months, putting NTSA on the road has helped. But if we want to achieve it more, is to revamp the traffic department in the police.
The roadside courts, are they coming back?
The roadside courts, we do not need it once we put the cameras, because we'll do what is called instant fining. The camera picks you and your violations are instantly fined and sent to your M-Pesa number or your bank account. And if you don't pay, we take away your license and so forth, and the enforcement mechanisms come to place.
Okay. One answer. What is your legacy project as a CS Transport?
There will be many, but I'll count them. I will be happy if I leave this ministry in the future and I finished a new airport terminal.
New airport terminal.
New port terminal.
Okay.
I want to put speed cameras on the road. To be that cabinet secretary that will be remembered that he put enforcement instant finding system on the road.
Okay.
I want to be that cabinet secretary will be remembered for dwelling the largest and the longest dual carriage in the country, Mombasa to Malaba.
Okay.
Yeah, with the expressway in between.
Okay.
I want to be the cabinet secretary that will be remembered for putting an intelligent traffic system in Nairobi. Okay. That will ensure that this intelligent traffic system in the city is going to sort out the traffic system, and together with the BRT system in the city.
Okay.
I want to be able to have extended the SGR from Naivasha to Malaba.
Okay.
And I really hope that we can do that in a way that it cannot overburden the people of Kenya with taxes. It's my dream. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that I will be the cabinet secretary who will complete the tarmacking of the longest roads in the marginalized areas. That will include Lamu to Ijara and operationalize the Lapsset corridor. That I will be that cabinet secretary who made the Lamu port and the Lapsset corridor operationalized, so that then a new transport corridor to the southern Ethiopia of the country is achieved. Okay. Those are some of the things that I think
will be a legacy.
It will be my legacy projects, because those are high-intensive projects. That aside from now implementation of policies, like I put in place a task force on e-mobility. They completed the process. Now I have the e-mobility report policy, and we are going to launch it officially. I will be putting in place a new accident investigation department that is going to be modern and make air accident investigation department in the country. I am going to be putting in place new railway law that will make sure that this law is going to ensure that we attract more private investment in the railway sector, including in future subway in the city of Nairobi and other cities in the country. We are going to, I even forgot that I went to Japan and we negotiated building of the biggest bridge, completion of that bridge. There was something was amiss. It was started with that administration. It has got stuck, but now we are going to build a Likoni bridge that's going to be called Mombasa Gate Bridge. One of the biggest bridges maybe will be in the region, among others.
When is this likely to happen?
That one will take long. It will take about 8 years. And we are now in the process of commencing it. Maybe next year the contractor will be on site.
And the subway?
The subway, no, that's the long term. That is, we just need to provide the legal framework, and then you now advertise and ask for PPP projects. I think that's long term. You know, the thing about
in Nairobi.
The subway in Nairobi. Okay. Let me tell you something. The thing about my sector is not instant coffee. Why you see many people getting impatient and saying, Mr. Minister, you have not done something. It involves serious planning. If you find things that have not been planned, to expedite from planning to sourcing of resources to contracting is not easy. But I have not told you many things. I went to China now. I think this is the 5th time. And one of the things we succeeded to work with Chinese administration is that investment on the ITS system, I told you, intelligent traffic system in the city, which is now completion of procurement. But also they helped us get about 37 billion Kenya shillings to complete a number of roads across the country. And
they gave you?
Yes. And
for free?
No, of course, not for free, but at concessional rates that are going to complete those roads in many of our different counties across the country. And so when Kenyans speak and say, Minister, you're doing what, despite all the bombardment I post on my Facebook page, is because people are impatient. They know that they have belief and faith that we should do it. But there is a lot of impatience in terms of achieving it, because many people do not understand the bureaucracy we go through, the legal framework, the procurement processes, the negotiation with other people.
Okay.
To be able to do that in less than 2 years is a miracle.
Let's now bring it down completely to JKIA.
Yes.
Jomo Kenyatta International Swimming Pool. Okay, blackout in an international airport?
Yeah, blackouts. Not blackout, blackouts.
Blackouts.
Yeah.
How? Why?
Neglect. Not just blackouts. The question
But
of
you're
the
the
blackouts.
overall boss.
Yes, yeah, I am.
So as much as you say, it comes back to you.
It comes back. Overall, I should not be answering these questions. Questions about blackout, questions about leakage of a roof here and there.
Yeah.
No, I should not be answering, really. It should have been an obvious thing that if an agency exists with senior people being paid, including an MD, a general manager, an engineer, a technician, really it should not be. Meaning there's something wrong with the system of that institution. When we arrived in office, and I have not even time to explain to you this, Kenya Airports Authority was extremely mismanaged as an institution. Completely mismanaged. 12 pending airstrips that have not been completed, given to very bogus contractors, poor supervision and poor management. When we reached there, almost everybody in the management is acting. Yeah, was almost acting. Departments are dysfunctional. Replacements of no maintenance operation manual. How can you have an airport that doesn't have a maintenance operations manual and so forth? So I have shepherded that institution now to the extent that I'm very proud of what we have done. We hired 4 general managers, legal, engineering, procurement, finance. We hired many airport managers, including some who are good. We hired about 200 staff that brought back the airport to where it is. We are now finalizing with the MD. We're hiring the managing director of the airport because he's also acting. As a result of them coming in, I am very proud of what they have done. They have returned the contractors to the airstrips. They have found ways to make sure that we procure and complete and get a new contractor to do the airport, as we've said. They found ways to do Wilson Airport for the first time. Is going to have a major facelift, both the runway and the aprons around that place. Those guys are doing a fantastic job.
But
the
JKIA?
leakage that we used to have, that
Yeah.
one thing, the JKIA, the blackout, I am very grateful that now it has been sorted.
How did they sort it? It's a new generator.
They installed new generators that had been bought but not installed. They also brought in certain technical more layers of backup for the electricity, so that when the electricity goes, this generator can support this and support another one.
So if it happens now, from the time we've had this conversation,
from the advice they've given me is that we are in a safer place.
But if it happens now, there's blackout in JKIA, who do we fire?
Even if it happens,
who resigns?
Well, not necessarily. I think we passed through that level. They understand that it's a serious issue, and but I've told those in the management it should not be the minister to come and fire people now. If something goes wrong, the management at the airport should be able to fire people on their own without me having come there.
Maji kunyeshea wageni.
By the way, I don't want to sound insensitive, but we shouldn't have an airport that's leaking. But that airport is as older than myself, yeah. And as again I've said, despite that particular section of the airport also did not even receive the facelift that required, because when it got banned the other time, this other side was constructed. That side did a small facelift, but then on top of it did not even have a roof. The flat surface concrete, had problems. And then the place that leaked was the tent. There's a tent on top of the roof. That the tent.
Ilikuwa check-in counters pale ndani ile maji yote ilikuwa naona.
On top of it at a tent.
Na ile cold room yenye ilikuwa swimming pool. There's a cold room that the flowers were floating.
That one is force majeure. That is beyond neglect. It's because of the construction of where it been put and so forth. And I visited them, the private cold rooms. That one can still even happen if they don't raise. But they have done a good job. Most of those cold rooms did a good job, and
So the leakage has been sorted.
The leakage of the roof has been sorted, and now we have a new roof, completely new roof.
Sure?
in around that place.
Can we see it?
Yeah, of course.
Because I have not seen it. I would like to come with my camera and say, and you're here, new roof unasema hii.
Twende airport.
I would come.
Yeah, karibu.
And I would come with these people and I'll tell them to go live ndio hii roof.
Karibu. We'll take you around. I'll show you
yeah.
the changes that have happened at the airport. But still bado. Even our arrival terminal now, on the Terminal 1E on the other side, is still a tent, you know? And that's why, as I told you, the legacy of President William Ruto administration is to build for the people of Kenya a new terminal.
Okay.
The only terminal we have in JKIA was built by Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Renovated, of course, recently in the government of your son.
Okay.
But now, a new terminal that we will have and call it a new airport will be built by President William Ruto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sawa, now we're wrapping up. So this is quick fire, rakaraka. Uber Bolt issue.
Uber Bolt issue.
This is Pius Mutinda.
Yeah. Uber Bolt issues remains a challenge, but we have put in place the law, regulations, and enforcement. And if there are still drivers that feel that Uber is still violating the required minimum amount, my office is open for further enforcement, beyond even NTSA itself. It is something that we started, Senator Sakaja started it when he was a senator, the law itself, and I am privileged to become the minister who is implementing it. And we have been having this continuous consultation with also Governor Sakaja, because most of the affected drivers are within Nairobi City.
Obinna asked Mheshimiwa about the bad roads in Elgeyo Marakwet. That's VB.
I'm glad that he knows that they are bad also in Elgeyo Marakwet, because some people think because I come from Elgeyo Marakwet, maybe I went and did for myself roads. The truth is that, as I explained to you earlier, most of our roads are in very bad stage at this point in time, and we are mobilizing resources to come back to complete the incompleted projects, which includes in Elgeyo Marakwet County. And the reason why we were looking for maintenance roads is also to maintain the roads particularly badly washed by the recent rains.
Okay.
Yeah.
VIPs driving on the wrong side. Robbie David. And I also asked that one.
It's actually, I forgot to tell
Are
you
they
that
allowed to?
it's still enforcement issue, but there are certain VIPs that by law are allowed to use
the wrong side.
Not the VIP themselves. You can't wake up and say, I'm a VIP, I'm driving on the wrong side. You can, there is only required sirens for police officers. So if you see them on the wrong side, it must be that the car is driven and led by police officers.
Okay.
But there are some rogue people who pretend to be to also misuse that law. And not all VIPs and not all people who work for government have a right to use the wrong side of the road.
Okay. DL price, why 3050? That's 3,050.
In what is that? Oh,
that's Ibrahim Kimutai, yeah.
Driving license
Yes.
prices.
Yes.
It's because of the cost involved in the same.
Okay. Chavakali Kabsabet Road ni mbaya, Sheikh Tamim.
That is true. He's right. Just tell him that we advertised recently for Kena contracts on Chavakali Road. And once we were about to award them, we realized that we didn't have the resources to complete payment. If you had me today during the public participation, I said, this is the first year that most of our road agencies are not meeting their targets to award the contract. And that's why we were doing the public participation to see how much can we increase from the road maintenance levy. But the people of Kenya said, just don't increase. Look for ways of fast reducing the cost of fuel so that you can make that saving and put it in the road construction.
Fatahovic, 60 years after independence, the people of Wajir are cut off from the rest of the country during rains. CS, yes. When are you tarmacking our roads? Question Makama Tano.
Good question. Who is that? What's his name?
Fatahovic.
Fatahovic.
Yes.
That's a very good question. And as I said earlier, if you are following our discussion, we will be the administration that will connect the north for the first time to tarmac the road from Isiolo, Modokashe, Samatar, to Wajir, Kotulo, Kobo, all the way to Ramu and Mandera. Okay. 750 kilometers. Okay. I promise you that our administration will open up the north.
The Hub TV, cabinet reshuffle. Will he be affected, bearing in mind is the president's flower girl? Oh, wow.
Wow. I told you I'm used to those insults. Am I supposed to answer anything?
Like, do you consider you're going to be reshuffled?
I don't know. It's the president's discretion. Yeah. The president's discretion. We serve at where I used to have only security for 10 years when I was a senator. Where I am here is I serve under the discretion of the
The
president.
center is for the people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
by the people.
Yeah.
Ask about Garissa roads, please. Ahmed Abdi Rashid.
Garissa Road?
Yes.
Garissa roads.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he must be really speaking about Madogo. The Madogo area that was really swept by the rain the other day. I'm glad to report to him that already we gave the contractor to do the bridge, the Madogo bridge, and we are trying to see also the extended damage that happened recently. We can see we can expand, because when the spillage from the Masinga dams, it becomes a big problem in that Garissa area. But also to inform him that by February next year, we will have completed the road from Lamu, 250 kilometers of road from Lamu to Ijara, connecting the Lamu to Garissa, and also from Garissa to Isiolo, so that the lapsed corridor can be seamless.
Koros, why should I pay 3,500 for driving license renewal? Why go for new biometrics? My fingerprints will not change in 3 years.
When you're renewing the...
DL, that apparently you have to go for new biometrics and fingerprints, and you're like, it's still me.
I don't know that in the renewal... No. Maybe then it's to confirm that you are the right person, but we are working on something to change that. We are going to change the whole ecosystem of renewal of driving license and what it means, how to do it, and we should be able to roll it out in the near future.
Kapsoit Sondu Road?
That's terrible. I really feel very sad for the people of Kericho and Kisumu because of the Kapsoit Sondu Road, because we gave a contractor who bid the lowest but has become the most incompetent.
Cheap is expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Clearly.
But you know, the contractual rules say that you give the cheapest bidder. If you don't give the cheapest bidder, they also take you to EACC and you're told, why did you pick the other one who is higher? Yeah. But that contractor has been an embarrassment. I've been there to go and inspect the road, and they can have my instructions to follow the law to terminate that contract. And the people of Kericho and Kisumu, just be a little bit patient. Once we terminate, we'll get a better contractor.
Olengurone Silibwet Bomet Road is neglected as well.
What is his name?
Victor Yegon.
Victor Yegon, good question. You remember what I told you earlier about orphaned roads?
Yeah.
Those are the roads that were done on low volume seal roads. There is Masara Road in Kajiado. There is Boyman in Nyandarua. There is the road from Pipeline in Nakuru to Mau Narok. There is the road in Chepseon in Kericho. There is the road in many of these roads that were low volume seal roads. They are terrible, terrible. But they don't have maintenance money. And that's why I'm doing the road maintenance levy. So Victor, just be a little bit patient. If we find ways of raising this road maintenance levy, Silibwet Olenguruoni is one of our greatest priority for intervention. And I see even the portals it's an embarrassment.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a colonial bridge linking Thika to Donyo Sabuk.
It was swept away.
It was swept,
yeah. It was swept in April.
Is he doing anything about it? That is Forex with Blues Academy.
It was swept in April in the recent floods, and I told you we need that 7 billion across the country to make an intervention on the same. I don't remember what was the value of that, and it was brought to my attention also. I am very much aware. I should be visiting there soon. But as soon as we raise the resources, we are going to fix that road.
All righty.
That bridge.
I think now we've covered most of it. More is just many other roads. There's Chebold, Chebuonyo Road, Gataka, Ongatarongai.
Chebunyo Road. Kataka. Let me just talk about the Kataka one.
Gataka, Ongatarongai.
Yes, the Ongatarongai one is also another problem. Yeah. But particularly, if you see the one that goes to Masai Lodge, that is the one that people have complained a lot. They even do a rambe to say we are grading it and so forth, because the contractor left aside for the problem of pending bills. And I wish there was a way I raise my own resources. But through Parliament and working together with the Executive Treasury, we really hope that we are going to raise a good number of resources to fix these roads.
Okay. Road maintenance levy annually is in billions. Why stop projects yet there is money to run local roads? There
is no money. We have a total network of 68,000 kilometers. being run by, it's about now 73 billion shillings. The deficit is the total money we need to maintain the roads is 151 billion. So there's a deficit of 78 billion to fix the roads. 78. From this road maintenance levy of 7 shillings we are trying to increase, it will only give us another 30. It will take us to about 115 billion. We'll still have a deficit, but we'll be in a better place. Please, Kenyans, we need the money to fix your roads. And there is nobody does not go through now a dilapidated road because of lack of road maintenance. Everywhere, including myself when I go home. Not just when I go home, even when I'm in Nairobi. The roads in Nairobi here, you've seen them. You've seen them, they are facing.
Most of them are bad.
Absolutely.
And then munaeka viraka.
Yeah, Sasa, you patch it just to survive. But we want to maintain. You've seen what we are doing in Langata Road. At least now, we put some contracts on Langata Road and a few other places in the city.
But this thing of recarpeting,
yeah.
Why do people do that? We know very well that it's waste of resources, that inamwagwa,
yeah.
Then watu wanapitia leo na kesho, then all of a sudden ile la milko mwagwa yote imeenda on the sides, nini imeisha, now we're just back to what we were before. Why do we do that? And why can't we just do the road like hii Mbagathi has been cement, and it's been there since I came Nairobi, I think, when nikikuwa chokora. Hiyo barabara imekuwa cement, like, why don't you just decide and just cement a few roads, and now to seme, nipo hatuta repeat. But constantly.
Do you know cementing a road?
I know it's expensive, but it's long term.
Extremely expensive.
But it's long term.
Yeah, it's long term. If we can afford.
So you'd rather just tunapiga viraka, tunakam, tunarecarpet.
If we had the money, we'll do it. But do you remember reject?
Oh, you wanataka kuiweka kwa
There's no other way.
Oh.
There's no other way to raise taxes and to finance.
Unataka kuiweka kwa nini? Haya. I think we've come to the end of the show because now we have a lot of many other roads here that I can't mention all of them.
Yes,
Kenya is huge.
But let me let you know.
Yeah.
I have gone across the country to see the state of those roads. Kenyans are right to bash me because they have to bash somebody.
Yeah.
But I wish they knew that we don't have the money. We don't have the resources now to do so.
So
just a little patience.
We just sit.
No, we
can't
sit
and wait.
We can't sit. Your minister is running around. He gets 30 billion there. He gets a donor funding here. We keep moving. But if we could get these 7 shillings for now, I promise you, the same time 1 year from down the line, those people like they're asking.
Sahi hatuna pesa.
Yeah, you see. Yeah, you see.
Tuko mwisho.
Yeah.
Tuko wewe utakuja useme 7 shillings.
Yeah.
Kuna mwingine atakuja aseme sijui nini. Kuna mwingine saizi.
But I'll deliver the road.
You can see we are struggling to
make
I'll
deliver for you the road.
Kwanza hii Mahiu. That road connects a lot of places and a lot of tracks, but somehow it's just the same small intertwining, and we're just like, okay.
That's why we want to dual the Rironi to Malaba, so that it carries most of the burden. So that this
so the trucks will move this side.
We want them to move to that side. Yeah, want them to move to this side. We'll move back to that side. That's why even in the design, when you descend to Naivasha, part of the plan is to raise it a little bit so that it becomes flat, because it's dangerous when they are descending. The reason why they are going through Maimayu, that slowness is also useful for the lorries. Unlike a quick descent from Kinungi, you are moving to Naivasha. It causes many accidents.
Okay. So as we wrap up, this now is general humanity.
Yes, sir.
Si unaona mumetufinya as a government. Hata wewe unaona mmetufinya. Mbona mnatufanya hivi? Munaona yenyewe guys are jobless. About over 60% of the population is jobless. The other 40 are just trying to make ends meet. Kuna 10 wale kama nyinyi, sasa nyinyi mko kwa 10. Yeah. Then sasa kuna hii 30 ya leo upate kesho ukose, watu wanafanya. Hata naona comments hapa, mbia mwesha nisaidie kupeleka mtoto shule nini.
I know. I get it all the time.
Mbona mnatufanya hivi?
My brother, we are less than 2 years in government.
Which I understand.
Let me just say that. Let me start from there, just for people to understand. We came in to fix this problem.
But you're making it worse.
No.
Taxes zimepanda.
No, we are making it better, my brother.
Taxes zimepanda.
Let me tell you, those taxes yenye wewe unasema imepanda ni sisi wa 10%. Haijapanda kwa mtu mwenye ana job.
Do you know that
my brother, when we came to office, mafuta ilikuwa 250. It is now coming to 178, 179. The dollar was moving to 150, it's coming to... What we have done over these 2 years, yeah, and the measures that the president have put in place to create jobs at home, including this finance bill that was going to make expensive to import certain things so that we can manufacture here at home. You remember in the last finance bill, we made sure that furniture cannot be imported. We must buy them from here. So many workshops are now employing young people. But furniture is still being imported. If you import, the cost is higher. So people have gone for locally made. Even the big companies now have brought their businesses here. And that has helped employing people here. You remember that a clinker was stopped. What did happen? Some investors put clinker factories in Kenya. I went with the president with Pokot, where there is a big investor in clinker there and created jobs and employment for people in the country. So unless we become deliberate, you see the housing project. The president putting in place the housing project has employed so many people working in the housing sector. In fact, recently, there are just a small issues they were adjusting. And he was saying that in another 1 month, all these construction sites for those which have been awarded contracts will be seamlessly working to employ Kenyans and so forth. If I had this money for paying these contractors, and I really sympathize with them, and I want to promise our local contractors that despite the challenges we are going through, including auctioneers coming for your properties and so forth, we are working at this year to make sure that we raise resources to bring contractors on site. Because when we bring them on site, many young people will get work to work in different places, you know. Where tourism is growing. When tourism is growing, people are building hotels, they employ people. People are having more transport services, they employ people. So the growth of the overall growth of the economy in this idea to absorb these people. The president has also gone deliberate with a program of getting jobs abroad. And he has been working hard to see so. Another sector that really is going to employ many people is agriculture. You know, and I can tell you this for sure. I embarked on avocado farming in 2020, yeah, during COVID period. And in less than 3 years, now we did our first, we are in our second harvesting. And the number of people we employ just to work in the farm, a good number of people, they get a job. Agriculture has that potential. Not to mention when you do the packaging and the export and so forth. So these deliberate efforts that the president is doing with fertilizer, is doing with cherry fund, for coffee cherry fund, what he did with the factories for sugar. Despite somebody going to court, we're going to lease it out so that then we can employ more people. There are so many things that we are doing together that will bring jobs back home. Because no matter how many times we speak here, with a population with median age of 19 years, our biggest crisis is accommodating the young people to get a job. It will not matter anything else we talk. We must create an environment that either they will self-employ or they will be employed in different places in the country, without which we are going to have a major crisis, not just in Kenya, but in this continent.
Haya, sisi tuko hapa, mkijaribu hivi tunawasalimia.
Mimi ni namba yangu iko all over. Napata salamu. Huwa napata salamu all the time.
Salamu. Yeah, because now if you look at the way where the government is put us now, guys, watu wamefika mwisho. Now talk like now we can't take this anymore. And if it keeps, talk to your friends up there.
What is only unfortunate, because I don't like giving excuses, is one to just wake up and say it was this government. What the level of attack on President Ruto and this government is unprecedented. By people who 2 years ago in another government, they were happy.
No, it's because you overpromised and people gave you the votes. No, that's what happened.
But you know, we didn't say...
Niaje, nitakupanga, man. Then akupatia, then umpange, then relax. Nina organize.
No, but...
Napanga.
You gave us a 5-year mandate. And in less than 2 years, you say you must go.
Because the 2 years tayari tunatandikwa.
No, but you know, my brother...
Unajua hata 2 years ingekuwa ile tungesema mmekuwa 2 years lakini bado tuko kwa ile...
No, we are not as bad as when we came in.
No, when you came in bado.
How much is the cost of unga now?
When you came in, there was a lot of confusion. Because mulikuwa, they carried money in sacks. The previous government. So tukaambia, Okay, wacha tuwapatie mwaka moja tuwapime.
Yeah.
Haya tukapatia 2
mwaka
years.
moja. Let me just ask you, mwaka moja bei ya unga iko ngapi?
Bei ya unga nao mmemenyana nayo. But now you know
unga but that is the most important. If people cannot eat, it's a big problem. You know, agricultural production, we know you start with the basics. You sort the basics first
Umepatiwa fake fertilizer.
Before you can go to.
Kuna fertilizer zingine zimepotea in the high seas.
Yeah.
Zimefanywa ile kitu.
Be it as even with those challenges, as has been investigated and being investigated, even with those challenges, my brother, still the cost of production of agriculture has came down because of the subsidy and the amount of food that is in the country now. I was with the president the other day, and he was telling me, oh, you know, I have a problem in my farm. I said, why? He said, now I'm being told to sell maize 2,500. Why? Because we have produced enough maize in the market at a cheaper cost to be able for us to supply for people to get food.
Kesho chenye watu watafanya wana watch interview, watakata snippets za vitu umesema.
Yeah.
Na zitawekwa pale Twitter kando ya facts. Yeah. Kuna watu tu umesema hivi na hivi na hivi, zitakuwa zinapangwa. So ngoja utaona venye itafanyika. Myself, I'll hold you accountable to 2 things.
Yeah.
One, the people we've lost in our peaceful maandamano,
as we agreed,
tuwafanyie kitu, wapige pole.
That's okay.
I'll follow up with Boniface Mwangi and the team, because they're the ones who know about the protest, mambo vizuri.
Yeah.
What to advise, they'll help us get in touch with the families when you may lose their loved ones, and we are starting with the mother mwenye mtoto wake alishitiwa 8 bullets.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Pole.
Okay. Secondly, JKIA umesema mabati metengenezwa nini, ndakuja
twende huko
na tuseme haya ndio hii I want to see.
Sawa? And the stations also in Nairobi I'm visiting tomorrow. If you have time you can come.
Ukinilipa na come. Yeah. Mimi nikuja sina pesa ya kukulipa. I'm accompanying nani. Ndio waende wanifanyie venye wamefanyia kina Butita huko na kina Chipukizi.
Kwa sababu ya what is all this hate about a citizen traveling or going somewhere with their government?
No, the problem was not going. Even when Butita went with the president, there was no problem.
Yeah.
It was all good. And we are celebrating.
Yeah,
like, we are happy, we are everything.
Correct.
And then when the finance bill came,
yeah,
now everybody associated with the finance bill, kinamramba. Because the
Why?
majority...
Why?
Majority, which is
Let me ask you one question, Obinna. Why, if you believe the finance bill was bad?
Yes, I sat down here with Mheshimiwa Babu Owino. I don't believe I know.
You believe.
I don't, no, we believe in what you don't know.
No, Goja.
We believe.
No, even after you got to know, you believe it by what you know it's bad.
I know. We sat down here with Mheshimiwa Babu Owino, we analyzed it.
That is his position. I'm asking you, Obinna.
I know it's bad.
But I know it's good. Okay. I know it's good. Why should I fight you because you're saying it's bad? It's wrong for me to fight you for saying it's bad. Okay. It's also wrong for you, Obinna, to fight me to say when
which
it's good.
I agree with you. Everybody's entitled.
Absolutely. We should reach a certain. We should reach a certain level of tolerance.
Yes.
Where
I totally agree with you on that part.
Where it doesn't matter
whether you support or you don't support. I respect your part and you respect mine.
And I agree.
That one I believe and I agree with.
Yeah.
That is why even myself, when I'm rejecting the finance bill, I went myself to the street.
Yes.
And I said, I'm rejecting the finance bill. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Because I sat down with Babu Owino, we analyzed. But you will never find me.
I wish you called me we analyze, not Babu Owino.
Okay, but you're part of the problem.
No, you see,
utafanya hivi.
No,
utafanya venye umefanya kwa interview yote.
All those things you say they are in finance bill, they are not. Tell me one.
Nilikuwa nimeandika notes chini, sasa hizo notes haziko hapa.
Up to now, after all things have settled and the president has rejected opinion finance bill, I have not found a single person who rejected finance bill who can defend a single section.
Nipige mtu simu sahi.
Pigia. Awalali ni 130. And you don't want me to work tomorrow. I know.
Wacha nimsame. No, kesho umesema unazunguka huku kwa nini?
That's work.
So this is what I meant.
Yeah.
So when people feel, when I felt I didn't support the finance bill, you will never find me going out for someone who supports it and then insulting them or degrading them.
That should not
or
be the case.
Fighting them.
That should not be the case.
Your idea kwa salimia. But you'd find me saying, myself, I don't.
Yeah, that's okay. That's allowed.
Because human rights
Even
just say...
even if you are in parliament, you would vote no with all your rights.
Yeah, but human rights, as I will live and I will exercise my rights as long as I don't
Interfere with other person's
person's human rights as
and
well.
our country will be beautiful with that.
It was beautiful. It's still gonna be beautiful,
Yeah.
provided tuachane na hii finance bill. We will tutajenga ingine. Hii hata nyinyi hata mmeka tu chini. Okay, let me just the last one.
Yeah.
Muliona tumeenda kwa street.
Yeah.
Tumesema tutaki.
Yeah.
Day 1, day 2, day 3. Mumeka tu chini na president tu mnatusoma tu.
My brother, there is nothing wrong with the finance bill.
Yes, but tumesema tuitaki. You see those people in that house? They are our representatives. They're supposed to
they
air
were,
our grievances. But hawa wamesema, mimi nimeona iko sawa. Umeona kama
but there are
nani?
people wanataka.
There are people kama wanataka mbona wanawasalimia?
Let me tell you something. No, kusalimia is okay. It's allowed, but it's not necessary to jam people's phones with spamming. But people can do it. The thing is, a finance bill has no problem. If you see the list of the things that people raised about the country, wastage, larges, bigger government, watches, all these other things, yeah? They had nothing to do with the finance bill. Yeah, ukweli.
The main problem we have as a country is wastage of resources.
Yes.
But here's another finance bill.
And the president acknowledged that. And we acknowledge also.
We don't want it to acknowledge. We want it to sort it. Now the problem is...
We acknowledged and sorted it.
We've not sorted it yet. We still have a lot of money that's being lost in avenues. We have... what are quote-unquote offices and private ways that money is being spent and everything that's happening.
All that must be sorted.
But
including
here is another finance bill. There's someone saying, no, this one is good. And we're like, no, we still have money here that we don't know where it's going. But someone's like, no, we just need more money for us to sort ABCD. So approve this finance bill. You see now, hapo ndo kuna shida.
No, and I agree with you.
Nobody has a problem with paying taxes.
I agree with you up to there, that there are certain wrong things that we need to sort, and we have acknowledged as a government. And this opportunity that presented itself was great, so that we can, with the issues raised by the young people, and by the way, it was like all the Kenyans, but led by the young people, has given us an opportunity to sort some also other problems that we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but then the things that are not in the finance bill, like the land bill, larges, and all that, also contributed to the finance bill, but originally was not in the finance bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So way forward?
As I told you earlier, way forward is fast. If you sin, you must confess. But not just confess. I saw some of my colleagues in parliament just saying, oh, yeah, parliament has this. Also reject. If you are getting allowances that are wrong, return. Let's be people who also in actions. People like myself, as I told you earlier. If your lifestyle, behavior is hurting other people, leave it. Focus on the things that benefit people. Okay. And I told myself, I have acknowledged my problem, I will also change.
If people ask you to step down, would you?
If I have failed in my responsibilities, I will not wait, I will.
Okay.
Yeah. If I fail in my responsibilities, you don't even need to prompt me.
Okay.
Obinna, I work very, very hard. Very hard, because I know where I came from.
Okay.
I know the ethics that comes with working with President William Ruto. I work, my friend, I wish you can spend only 1 week with me. I have a schedule of things I tick. When I sit in the office, I first look at my flagship project, and I make my calls on the flagship first. How far is the airport? How's the procurement for the dual carriage? I ask myself, how is the issues related to the railway? How is the issues related to the port? How I look at first my dream things, then the normal maintaining things here and there, the normal ministry related things I can follow at a given day and can be followed by others. But there are certain things that I want to achieve that must be delivered. I work very hard.
Okay.
I work very hard. And I believe that hard work will pay.
Okay.
I believe also that my colleagues whom we work together in the cabinet, my PSs that we work together, the MDs and so forth, if genuinely, even in camera, even in my absence, were asked to testify about my effort, they would testify about how much I have done to bring the ministry to order, to the level that where we are.
Okay. There you have it. We just hosted the CS and amesema mambo mingi, so if you just tune in, naona watu wanauliza maswali zingine hapa tulishadiscuss. Rudi huko nyuma from the beginning, you get to get all those answers for the questions that you have. Two things you need to note. Number one, our tour with them on Facebook is still on. We're coming to the to your town.
Yeah.
We are starting from 10th August, going all the way. We are starting with Narok, we have Kisii, we have Eldoret, then we have Kitale, which is her main, is like a homecoming. I'm doing for her a homecoming. Buy your tickets, madfund.com. You come to the support us. Let's have a good time. Let's laugh. Tumepitia a lot. Tulipostpone because of maandamano. We're rejecting the finance bill. Tukaisongeza. Sata August, kutoka tarehe 10, tukiendelea hivyo tunaipiga, okay? Second thing, on the 3rd of August, I'm doing the men's mental health awareness walk. Come through. It's for wanaume. So June is normally the month for men's mental health awareness month. But we didn't do much because we had planned to do it at Uhuru Park, and then kidogo maandamano ikaanza. Then if you put men together, watachapwa tear gas, waseme tukai postponed. So now we are still doing it, but now it's on August 3rd. It's at the United Kenya Club. Iko tu hapo State House Road. Hapo tu kando ya YMCA. Hapo ni St. Andrew's Church, I think. Hapo tunakutana hapo asubuhi, kutoka saa 1 asubuhi. We walk around town, we come back there. There'll be free medical checkup for men. We'll have a couple of dances, performances from artists, music and everything. And also we'll be having some professionals talking to us. Wanaume, we're going through a lot. So come through. That is on 3rd of August for the men's mental health awareness walk. It's a free entry event. It's a non-profit thing. Come through. We're still looking for partners and sponsors for the whole thing. So if you know you can provide us for the sound, you can give us the stage, you can offer your services as an usher or someone to guide us, aerobics, Zumba, music artists, you want to come and perform, DJ, you want to come through, We're accepting all of them. We also need portable washrooms. If you know you do that and you want to partner with us and donate it for us, thank God. Tunashukuru sana. I'll see you guys on the 3rd as well. All right, thank you so much, Bwana CS.
Asante sana.
Wacha tukuache ufike nyumbani kwa sababu kesho, umesema kesho unaanzia maraundi wapi?
Kesho nitaanzia hapa Nairobi tu kuangalia ma stations za railway zenye tumejenga mpya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sawa. Thank you so much for coming.
Asante sana.
Let's wish for the best.
Yeah.
Mi wacha niingie pale online nitandikwe viboko zangu.
Yeah. Kawaida.
Pia uingia hapo utandikwe viboko zako.
Wewe sijui ndani wewe umezoea. Mimi nimezoea.
No, mimi nimezoea. Mimi sasa niko hapa inaitwa God mode. Unanitandikanga lakini iko tu. Yeah, ni God tu. Mambo ni mengi.
Asante.
All right.
Sawa ndugu.
Thank you so much for watching. Good night. God bless.